AIs are talking to each other now, dude.
The way to the
Yeah, they
line.
are.
I want to now welcome you in up in the booth. I'm Austin
They're
Green.
using
Joining
some
me tonight
fucking
is my partner in crime, Dawson
threatening
Wise.
language.
Tyler Vickery will be doing our pit reporting once again, and we want to give a big thanks
They're
to our
robots.
producer,
They're doing
Christian
whatever they
Hill, for all
want
the hard
to.
work he will be
Because
doing
no one's
behind
going to
the
stop
scenes.
them.
Well, Dawson, here we are back at Daytona, slowly getting closer to the feature event on Sunday, but we've got some more heats tonight.
And we fucking made it happen.
Well, absolutely, Austin. What a week it has been to
they
this
need
point,
water
the
to
historic
survive.
Daytona International Speedway, and it rolls on tonight with night number 4 of heat racing. And the story this week, you mentioned the guys that are out. I want to talk about the guys that have gotten themselves in heat race victory lane. There have been some upset winners this week that have broken the mold of what we expected in terms of guys going to victory lane in their heat races. The pole shootout field certainly is different than what I expected going into this week. Again, you saw the heat schedule there. 3 more tonight, 1 more tomorrow, and then we really start to narrow down the field. The pole shootout tomorrow night. We're 24 hours away. That's going to be a fun one right back here at Daytona. And then Saturday is the marathon. 2 last chance qualifiers, 2 dual races, and of course the granddaddy of them all, the feature race. Sunday afternoon, 500 miles, PGR's largest prize of all time. It's going to be a lot of fun. And as we get ready to go down to track level and meet the grid for heat race number 9, what a week it has been. And Austin, I can't wait to see what we have for us tonight.
A lot of excitement building into this one. 144 drivers already eliminated, but here tonight, we're going to kick things off with your starting grid here for heat race number 9. Matthew Zwack going to start on the front row. If you remember his great finish in last year's PGR 500, he'll have an ERA. Former Omega Cup Spring Bowl winner Cody Nagels. He's talked all week about how much this race would mean for him to win. He rolls off on the outside in second. Jarrett Liebert rolls off back in third. It's going to be Kyler Wynn, another one of the big-time money racers. He'll roll off in fourth. He has won the the Podium 500 before. Mark Person back to the 5th spot. It's going to be Brandon Broadfoot to his outside in 6th. Grady Graham rolls off to the 7th spot tonight. He'll have Josh Cruz to his outside in 8th. It's going to be Anton Polyakov back in 9th, and Matt L. Cox rounding out the top 10.
06 is going to be a combination of Ty Stone in the 25 and Beckett Brown in car number 00. Back on row number 7, starting in the 13th position, is going to be Sean Corbett, one of the longtime money racers in the 45. Alongside him, his teammate tonight, Danny Barnes, in car number 7. Row 8, Brandon Lopez in the 5 tonight on your timing and scoring, and alongside him is the 75 of Tobias Matheson. Row 9 going to be Jacob Booth in car number 19. Alongside him is Kevin Haas in car number 8. Rounding out the top 20 is Matthew Campbell in the 82. Alongside him, it's Stephen Harry in car number 69.
Back at row number 11 here tonight, it's going to be Cooper Cockrell starting on the inside in 21st with Randall Peasley to his outside in 22nd.
Broadcast here, guys, for the broadcast. You are not allowed to pit.
outside in 24th. That's another one of the money racing veterans. Back at 25th is going to be Clay Sarton. Alan Martin to his outside in 26th. And it'll be Zachary Harry and Kelly Walton rounding out the rest here of heat number 9. It looks like, Dawson, we are going to get an extra pace lap here for guys to get ready, geared up to go. But when we talk about these heats, same setup here.
Come on, Mark.
100% fuel. 1 green-white checkered attempt, which we have needed in every single heat so far. And, of course, you got that 1 fast repair, which has been crucial with all the chaos we've seen so far this week.
Yeah, the 1 fast repair has come into play for a number of drivers so far this week, and you mentioned the word calamity. That's kind of been the theme of the week to this point in terms of drivers advancing into the transfer spots, being eliminated from the transfer spots, but just in general, a lot of drivers have had to come down to pit road, get damage fixed, and utilize that 1 fast repair. Now, that will go away when we get into the Saturday races coming up here in about 48 hours, but for now, you do have 1 do-over, as I like to call it, or a mulligan, if you will, tonight that could save you from an incident in this race. Obviously, you're not going to lean on that here going forward, but again, it's been so helpful because there's been so much chaos. I know coming into this event that we expected some chaos. I cannot say we expected quite as much chaos as we have seen, and most of it has happened inside the final 5 laps of the race multiple times this week. Drivers have gone into the final lap inside the transfer spot and ended that final lap outside the transfer spot. I'm sure that is on the minds of all of the drivers in the field tonight. By the way, a lot of big names here in this one to open the night in heat race number 9.
Absolutely. The first 2 that come to mind, Matthew Zwack, Cody Nagels, who are going to start on the front row here. But that's a good point, Dawson. Dylan Alt was the first Coke Series driver to finally break the streak. He found victory lane last night, the final heat race of the night. But for a lot of other guys like Malik Ray, Colin Keister. These are names that we expected to be moving on potentially straight to the duels, but they're not even going to be making it to the LCQs. So everybody has had a chance so far this week. This is obviously one of the more stacked heats, and we are looking forward to it. And the lights are off on the pace car, so we are getting ready to go green this time. And before we do, want to welcome in, again, a couple of our other sponsors that you'll see throughout the rest of the week. One of them being our Restart Zone sponsor, Simrat Market. We'll talk about them throughout the week. And our Yellow Flag sponsor, which is powered by the NASRA 360 Racing Network. Well, a couple of new paint schemes on board here tonight, most notably for Cody Nagels. We talked to him pre-race, and he mentioned how much this race would mean for him to win. He's, of course, won the ERA Omega Cup Spring Bowl. He's got a former podium 500 champion and champion Kyler Wynn behind him. So this is going to get good. Time to get this thing going. First heat of the night as the field rolls into the Simrat Market restart zone. Here we go. In Daytona.
Field rockets on
Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead. You good, Mark.
PGR 500, and it's a very familiar name to PGR fans that will rock it to the lead. 6 for Nightmare Esports.
Got one coming from the back here, watching for
Machine looking for one of the biggest wins of his sim racing career this week. His run begins tonight. What a pusher he's got behind him. Moment for Broadfoot. Broadfoot out of shape. Trouble on the back of the field. They're going to go around towards the back. Multiple cars on the outside safer barrier. And involved, I think, was Sean Corbett. Perhaps a different looking yellow car that was involved in that one. And Outback Calamity on lap 2.
Jacob Booth is involved in the 19th. Stephen Harry's got damage as he slides to a halt over in the trial. Well, your first caution of the night, powered by the NASRA 360 Racing Network, is out on the racetrack here. We've got one car still stuck in the trial hole. But man, early chaos. We didn't see this as much last night as what we had the previous couple of nights, but the trend has started once again early. This is going to give everybody a fresh restart, and we'll have to go back and see if this is going to lead to a couple of early fast repairs for some of the drivers involved. And, you know, Dawson,
First
obviously,
caution here
a lot
tonight,
of
we've got a
nerves here at the
52
start of these.
grade
We talked
ramp.
about that throughout the week, and I got to think
Turn,
for some of these
block
guys,
it up into the
it's
wall.
just the
Check out the
antsiness.
whole
You're
field.
trying to push. There's so much
Then
going on in
causes
the draft.
the
It's so easy to
incident
make
in
a
the
small
back there.
mistake. and
Guys,
it's gonna
big
result-
warning tonight here. Make sure
It's actually
guys,
going to start
we've
towards
seen
the
a lot
front
of
of the field.
pushing.
You talked about
Pushers,
nerves. I
gotta
think
be
we saw
careful with that right there.
about of that with Brandon
you're
Broadfoot
at
running up
50.
inside the top 6 in the red, black, and blue number 22 machine. He was
Let's
the first
go,
car
Mark.
I saw get a little bit out of shape. And then from there, the stack up gets back to around the blue car, and it was just completely on.
Just watching you, brother.
For guys in the back, Stephen Harry,
Yes,
by the way,
sir.
was the yellow car that I saw. It was not Sean Corbett, so I do want to correct that. Corbett's still well within the lead draft in 11th, but Harry was the first car, and he and Booth were the first 2 cars that I saw get around. There's another couple cars that are involved in this towards the tail end of the field. There's Harry, the silver, orange, and yellow Toyota in the center. And look at this stack up as it gets back there. Actually, a couple more cars come together. As those guys are looking forward to try to miss the incident going on in front of them, they come together in the same real estate. And there are multiple other cars that are involved in this one. Cooper Cockrell gets a piece of it. And the 818 of Kelly Walton gets a piece of it, as well as the 02 Richard Elliott may have been partially involved in this as well. We get another angle of what was going on up towards the front. That's the Poliakov machine, the 4, that when the stack up starts with Broadfoot, watch this, he's going to get squeezed in the middle, and as he tries to regain his car, watch out back, there's Harry and Booth. They come together, again, watching too far forward. They were watching to try to see what was going to happen. It was on from there for the 3 cars at the back of the field.
And it was all sparked by trying to push in the corner. We talk about the risk associated with it. It looked like the 52, though, of Grand was pretty squared up. Whatever the issue was, though, he got Broadfoot out of shape. And then it was that big checkup, as you mentioned, Dawson, that puts us under caution here for the first time tonight. We'll get you back live now and get the field reset ready to go. By the way, Yellow Flags, again, powered by the NASRA Racing Network. They've got a big event coming up. The NASRA 6 Hours of Le Mans takes place on March 7th. If you're looking for 6 hours of strategy, teamwork, and endurance, go check that event out. You can catch all of it live only on the NASRA 360 Racing Network. Well, no big changes up front since the start of the race, so it'll be a very similar restart to what we had for the initial start, Dawson. But for Nagels and Wynn, so far, they're in the green. Cody picked up a spot from where he qualified, of course, on the outside pole. And then Kyler Wynn will now be restarting on the front row, as it looks like he's going to have Jarrett Liebert as the pusher behind him.
Yeah, a pair of guys that know each other well. Nagels and Wynn are the guys out front of the field. No surprise there that those two wanted to go and be aggressive and run up front early. You mentioned Liebert, good run for him. It's a PGR return of sorts for Liebert. He is running a couple of these special events now in that all-black 025. So good to see him back in the field tonight in heat 9, as he is actually -1 on the running order right now, but still well inside the transfer positions. Matthew Zwack, we expected to see him aggressive. You'll remember he has started both of the PGR crown jewels to this point, or at least both in 2025. He started outside pole in the PGR 500 last year and started up front in the SummerSlam 499 back in August, looking to get to victory lane in one of these races, though. Reminder, he was the second place finisher to Daniel Falkingham here a year ago in the first Great American Sim Race. So Zwack looking for one better. Nagels Wynn obviously would like to get in on that action, as well as Liebert. And how about the story for Mark Person? Mark Person in the MRL 500 last week wins a dual race and contends over 500 miles against some of these same guys. An impressive run, certainly puts him on the radar for this week as well.
Uh-oh, Mark getting some TV time.
PGR Esports colors on board of his number 77 tonight, and field back to 2x2. Lights are off on that iRacing.
Yeah, it looks good for right now.
We'll be going back to green flag racing this time. And if you're just joining us, again, we appreciate you being here. You are watching heats 9 through 11 here in the journey to the PGR 500. We've got 2 more heats coming up tonight. Just getting things kicked off here. 4 of 30 laps complete. We'll be going back green here with 5 of 30 in the books. And as you look at that inside line, pretty stout field in general, but I'm keeping an eye on some of these guys further back that have already been tearing their way through the field. Sean Corbett,
that's nice.
Very experienced and veteran money racer. He is currently up 4 spots from where he started this race at. Danny Barnes is up 3. You go back a couple more spots. How about Matt Campbell? He's picked up 4 spots from where he started this race at. But again, only 10 will transfer in. So if you finish 11th on back, doesn't matter how many spots you made up, you will not have a chance to continue and trying to make it to the PGR 500. Well, for Kyler and Cody, we know the game plan, Dawson, coming in, that they were going to work together. They haven't had much of a chance to do it so far tonight, but with what we've seen out back, I think I like that idea. If you're some of these guys up front, maybe try to play a little bit of cooperation. If it comes down to the end and you got a shot at it, sure, maybe race for it. We know there's $60 on the line, but at the end of the day, the guys that know how to win big events are the ones that know how to survive to get into it. All right, let's try this once again. Pace car going to make the left turn. Our field now back in control of Cody Nagels and Kyler Wynn. They're going to roll back into the restart. Back into the air. 5 laps completed. Daytona. It's a good restart for the 6 and Nagels. Will be Kyler Wynn through the gears. This is going to give him the opportunity to jump up. Big move to the high side right out of the gate. Nagels is going to cover the momentum, and look at all the gaps out back. Rest of the field's got to organize, and the question is, which lane will have the momentum as they climb into turn 1?
Was the inside with Zwack. They will get sidetracked in now. Zwack gets the push in person. Nagels has the better jump that back. That's Kyler Wynn in line with him. Then it is Liebert. Then it is Josh Cruz. His first chance to get to the front tonight. Same can be said about the Bears Mustang. 5th in line. That's Matt Cox. Cox, another super speedway guy. He has won on these tracks before, and another house driver for the Team Watson Racing Setups group that helped build this setup. Got to imagine that's some form of advantage. Cox. Field works off turns 3 and 4. Clear back to Cox now. It's Zwack. Back to row 6 alongside Sean Corbett for the 6th spot. Cox hangs a left. He goes in front of Zwack as the field gets back to the line. 25 to go. Push still coming to him, but the bottom is starting to get connected. They're going to start to roll forward in the same pattern we saw last night. The outside gets a little bit of run, then the inside gets a little bit of run. It's a bit of a chess game as to which line will move at which point in the race.
And a good mix of Chevys, Fords, and Toyotas in the sleep pack right now. Do want to mention everybody throughout this entire week going to be rocking the sporty TWRS racing setups. And we appreciate them for coming on board and providing what has been a phenomenal setup so far this week. Kyler Wynn now back to the bottom of the racetrack. He timed that move up about as good as you could go. Big push from Matthew Cox is going to send the 82 to the lead. Meanwhile, further back, Sean Corbett is his way through the field. He's now up to about 4th on the outside line. He's not going to be able to go any further yet. 3rd lane has not been able to develop
Wrecking out back.
this point, but already down to 24 laps to go, and it has been 2x2 up front.
Yeah, no 3-wide move yet, which is very interesting to me. In last night's couple of heats that had a little bit bigger names in them, we saw early 3-wide moves. I think of Malik Ray on day 2. I think of Rajah Caruth back on day 1. I think of a couple guys last night. Ethan Eckert did it all the way to his heat race trouble. Out back, multiple cars into the outside wall. It's another crash. Multi-car incident on the middle of the back straightaway as several come sliding to a stop place. Sarton is involved in the 27. Philippe Lopez has gotten a piece, as has Cooper Cockrell. Kevin Haas appears to be involved. There's a couple of more sliding to the inside. There's the Haas machine, the Budweiser Chevrolet. Another multi-car incident erupts on lap 7.
Yes, second caution of the night, well before the halfway point
Checking up.
here.
Turn 2.
And I think,
Checking up.
Dawson,
Turn 2.
I'll wait till we obviously get a replay to break it down for sure, but it almost looked live like it was maybe another case of pushing gone wrong, and it may have been the 52 car again. Obviously, we'll go back and get a look at that in just a moment, but for Haas, a little bit of damage on the front nose of his Chevy Camaro, so he'll have to go in and get some repairs. All right, here we go. This is as they were coming off of turn 2, and yes, you see the 52, that is Graham doing all the pushing to the back of the 27. It's a little bit of a stack up. And right as he gets to his rear bumper, there's going to be just a little bit of contact that ultimately gets him turned around. Everybody slides down the backstretch and scatters to miss it. Ultimately, it's going to go down as about a 3-car incident, Dawson. Couple of hits, but it doesn't look like any race-ending damage for these guys.
They got pretty lucky that that one was towards the tail end of the field for the guys that slid across the racing surface to be able to slide harmlessly down to the apron and gather their cars up. You're on board now with Grady Graham. He was running right behind the Sarton machine. And again, it's a testament to how you have to run this new Gen 7 package where you have to push in line. If you want to move forward, your line has to push multiple cars deep, not only to fill gaps and not allow cars to jump in front of you, but also to gather the energy and generate the momentum that gets your line moving forward. Unfortunately, there, nothing necessarily that Graham did wrong. It's a little bit offset of a push to play Sarton, but again, that's just how you have to race. You have to be more aggressive at times with the pushes than a lot of guys were willing to be rather on the old package. A lot of times on the old Gen 7 package, you could kind of ride in line and follow the line to the front and not really have to push 7 cars deep. Now,
that was a close one there. We're going to go racing incident.
What's your line to get moving towards
Looks
the
like,
and part of it's
first
obviously
looks like
the
on the
desperation,
52,
Dawson.
but
We talk
starts
about
in
it's
is
only being 30 laps. You got to get to the front
checking
as
up a
soon
little
as you
bit,
can. And part of
braking a
the
little
idea
too
is if
hard
you get
there.
to the front, you can
So that's
avoid
one
all
in
this
front of you, so
chaos
be
out
careful
back.
with that.
But man, for
So
52,
we
it's
will
been a
back
rough start
racing
tonight, so we'll have
incident
to see
there
if
when he's turned.
Grady Graham can get it back together here and get that car back to the front. We saw him running good here early in heat race number 9, but once we do get the field lined up, it will once again be Kyler Wynn and Cody Nagels here on the front row for this restart, with Matt Cox and Jarrett Liebert back in row 2. Matthew Zwack still well up inside the top 5. Josh Cruz, Mark Person, Sean Corbett, Beckett Brown, and Brandon Broadfoot all back inside the top 10. How about Broadfoot, Dawson? I know he's down 4 spots from where he started this race at, but he obviously almost had that big issue with the first caution tonight. He was able to be kind of on the front end of it, so he survived getting any major damage. But he's still up here running with these guys. And for Broadfoot, we talk about some underdog winners. This would be huge if Broadfoot could lock himself into the duels here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Brandon Broadfoot coming over tonight to run the PGR 500, a longtime PGR veteran looking to make the start in the Great American Sim Race this week. We talked about a bit of nerves that he might have had on the opening incident. I think those are gone now.
Hold on, I'll tell you.
This race, you're locked
Which
in.
duel?
Nerves have transitioned to the adrenaline. We've heard a lot of guys talk about adrenaline. I think that's what you're feeling now. If you're Brandon Broadfoot, a great onboard look, by the way, as to Brandon Broadfoot's setup for this week. See the triple monitor set up for him as he tries to work his way into the PGR 500. He's into a spot right now where he's back inside the transfer position.
Yeah, duel
So
1 is
Broadfoot,
3,
this is kind of where you want to
Cody,
be.
and duel 2 would be 430 for us.
A little bit further than 10th. That's danger zone. Broadfoot, you imagine, will be on the move right here.
Absolutely. As we get things set to go, it's been a chaotic week so
Hold
far.
on, let me
We've
look.
seen, again, a lot of drivers that maybe coming into this we didn't necessarily think would be a 1-2 finisher here in these heats.
60.
Some of those names
60 is
that
correct.
come to mind right away, Dawson. You think about a DJ Thomas, Hunter Hasty. I mean, these are veteran guys, but coming into these big events, they're usually a little bit more patient. They're a little bit more quiet. We saw the aggression, though, that really paid off in some of the heats that we've had so far this week. I look back to a Jackson Vige, Jacob Dunn. Those are some of the names that we more expected to be in the pole shootout. And, of course, we will see them racing on Friday. Rajah Karut going to be featured in that event as well. So I know we've still got, obviously, a handful of heats here left to go. But I think a lot of drivers starting to slowly begin the transition and starting to get focused on what we could see Friday night. And, of course, Saturday with the LCQs and duels.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the guys that have already run, I think you have to think about Saturday. Obviously, those will be the biggest races of the weekend for the guys not racing tomorrow night. What a unique situation, though, for the 24 that will race tomorrow night in the pole shootout. It's an extra race on the weekend. There's a chance you might have to race 4 times with the pole shootout race, whereas last year the only guys that raced 4 times were the ones that went to the last chance qualifiers. Now, several of them did advance out of the LCQ into the duel and then into the PGR 500, but a little bit different scenario this year where you'll still have to run 4 races. That pole shootout is so important, because not only will you have a spot in the duel no matter what, you could advance right onto the front.
Cody's like, we'll tell her eventually, but not right now.
For the race. We know how important track position is. Again, as important as those last chance qualifiers and duels will be on Saturday, arguably to me, it is going to be more important to finish top 2 in that pole shootout tomorrow, because you could skip Saturday altogether and start to set your mind for Sunday. It's such a huge advantage to go ahead and lock yourself into the field and have some momentum underneath you as well.
All right, y'all lock in. About to go green.
And obviously, the duels is where it really starts to get more serious, too, even in the format. I mean, the heat's only 30 laps. Once you get to the duels, double that. 60 laps, there's going to be pit stops involved, so strategy comes into play. And that's when we'll also likely start to see some of the teams that we'll see in the feature begin to form up as well. Field now working through 3 and 4. Everybody getting a final check of the tires. We are getting ready to get back to it. It's going to be 20 laps to go here in heat race number 9 at Daytona. Field going to be in control of Kyle once again. And for the guys in the back, not quite the pay window yet, but certainly got to start moving your way to the front. Green flag back in the air, 20 laps to go, and this time it's Kyler Wynn who's going to get the better jump in the 82. Shades of what Cody Nagle did on the last 3 starts. He's going to jump to the right side down the short chute.
Yeah, Kyler Wynn jumps up in front of Cody Nagles here on entrance to turn 1. Those two so far so good. Cars 82 and 6. You got to imagine, considering some things earlier this week, like a Malik Ray, like a Michael Guest, like a Michael Cozy, that are not advancing. You got to think Wynn and Nagles, that's in the back of their minds. They want to stay ahead of the chaos. They don't want to fall into the position that those guys were in late in those heat races. So far, they're able to do so well in control of the field of those 2 cars. Up on the top side, but here comes the challenge. It's on the bottom side. It's in the field of the Xbox machine with the Beast Mode Performance entries in this race. A couple of others have already made their runs. Paul Gallimore actually advanced last night into the duels on Saturday. Comes to the inside door of Kyler Wynn. They'll battle 2x2 for the lead. Now the short shoot into turn 1. The helper is Matthew Zwack on the bottom side of the racetrack. Of course, he's looking to break.
You can get a run up there, Lopez. Still got front end down.
This weekend has not been a good week for that group.
Sophomore, yeah, I got wheel damage, so I was trying to push him to get up there. Not
Matthew Zwack looking to break that first. He'll get a push from Beckett Brown here down the backstretch.
Temple, you're good, bud. He's wanting to get you stuck behind him.
And he made that big move to the high side of the racetrack, coming off turn 2. So the 82 is going to go back to the bottom, and that may be one of the best moves we've seen all week. Cody Nagel, the 82 is going to get clear. Cody, though, not going to be able to follow. This is going to hurt the momentum of the outside. But here comes Matthew Zwack back on the inside, along with some help from Beckett Brown. And this has been phenomenal so far, Dawson. Maybe the deepest pushing throughout both lines we have seen so far tonight. The outside's been pushing 4 and 5 deep. The inside's been able to get about 3 deep. And so far, we have not seen many issues with that pushing up front. It's been the guys towards about the middle and back portions of the pack. But for Cody Nagles, how about currently sitting 3rd? He qualified up front and has been in the top 5 of the
Yeah, absolutely. And track position has been so important this week for these guys in this heat race, and we've seen it time and time again. The guys that start towards the front typically have been the ones to advance, whether in the duel or into just the LCQ. How about Matt Cox, though? His PGR debut this week in the PGR 500, and he turns left on one of the winningest drivers in PGR history, Kyler Wynn. Cox will try to go to the lead. He does have a little bit of front-end damage on that Mustang. He'll get pushed now by one of the most aggressive pushers that we have ever seen on the super speedway scene, Cody Nagles. Immediately look at the run this bottom lane gets on exit of turn number 2. He'll come even with Kyler Wynn. The outside just has not been able to rekindle the energy they had a moment ago. Cox will draw even. They'll battle for the lead up the banking. And look how deep they're pushing. 4, 5, 6 cars deep on the bottom. Able to get connected.
Good move, Cody.
Back to the lead.
And now that 025 car finally going to have to breathe a little bit.
I'm hot.
To the engine of that race car. The bottom will get another chance. Big save. Kyler Wynn with a wiggle on the outside, but he's going to catch it. That kills the momentum. Nagles is going to jump back up. The 32 of Matt Cox led that lap. But now we have got a little bit more of a shuffle. And for the 32, 22. He's got
I was blowing up
damage
the hole
to
straight
the
away.
front nose of that race car. You gotta wonder, is that gonna hurt the performance with him leading this inside?
So far it has not. Now, obviously the push to from Cody Nagels rather on the last lap got Cox all the way to the lead, but now Matthew Zwack, the temperatures are starting to become an issue, I think, on that bottom lane with the amount that Kyler Wynn and Cody Nagels are able to shuffle and get Kyler Wynn as the pusher with fresh engine temperatures and shuffle Matt Cox back in line now fourth, almost fifth on the inside. Danny Barnes thinks about taking a left. He will on the nose of Chicago Bears Mustang. So Barnes is down at pink car right in front of Cox. First time we've seen Danny Barnes in the picture here. Same for Sean Corbett, just in front of him now. On the bottom, in behind the Matthews White machine, or rather in front of the Matthews White machine, who's been relegated outside the top 10 as they run. Cody Nagels up front, 3 wide. Matthews White gets split. That's Booth. He was involved in the first caution. He's the first one to go to the safer barrier, but nobody goes with him. Now a shuffle as one car gets knocked out of line. That's back around the Booth machine. That's the 75 of Madison. They're going the wrong direction. Back into 3. Up front, Nagels, Wynn continue to lead the outside. A new challenger emerged on the bottom. It's Brandon Broadfoot in car number 22 as he goes in for and this inside is going to start to generate a big run. The 77 is hooked up. That's Mark Person. Big push is going to get the 22. Even with Kyler Wynn in second, but it's still all Cody Nagels at the front of the field. We've crossed the halfway point, and that means just 14 laps to go here in heat race number 1. Third lane still has not been able to get formed up just yet. A couple guys keep going to it, but they're not able to get enough help to really make it work. I look back, though, towards right around the 52, Brady Graham. We've seen him be very aggressive so far tonight. Ty Stone, Jacob Booth. These are some of the guys that need to work together if they want to try to get to the front. And I know we've got a lot going on the racetrack so far here tonight, so we want to head down to Tyler Vickery for an update. Tyler, what do you got?
Yeah, thanks. And a lot of things going on with MNS right now. A lot of the drivers that are racing together, trying to get themselves in, which is Broadfoot, Corbett, Danny Barnes as well, and Richard Elliott, all talking about trying to make that third lane work. Have the drivers to be able to get up there, but it's all about survival right now until they can get within 10 to 5 laps to go and start making the push. The other thing that's been talked about as well is tech. Some of these drivers are making mistakes in not shifting up to 5th gear. We had a situation last night where a driver was still in 4th gear, did not shift up to 5th gear, and lost a ton of momentum on the lines. So that's going to be another big factor in this race.
Tyler, thank you for the update. A couple interesting notes there, Dawson. Before we talk about the issue with any sort of shifting, I want to note first about the strategy, right? I mean, that's some of the most teammates we've heard in a heat race, and for them to say, we want to wait till the end of this thing, man, I just don't know if that's the best idea with how much chaos we've seen in the back half of the field to end some of these heat races.
Well, a few of those cars have come forward in this race. Notably, Broadfoot is one that Tyler mentioned. He leads the bottom lane, but Corbett and Barnes have suddenly found their way into the picture as well. But being on that bottom line, if the shuffle happens again that we saw with Matt Cox just a moment ago in the 32, if that happens again here towards the tail end of this race, they're going to have to utilize that third lane and try to get to the safer barrier and make that work. So I don't mind talking about that now, trying to organize the plan. Okay, the bottom lane shuffles back. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to try to get a run organized to the third lane. Let's plan it out now. So when there's 5 laps to go, they're not scrambling. They know exactly what they're going to do. Love the game plan from the McCullough Motorsports contingent, which again includes Broadfoot tonight, includes Danny Barnes and Sean Corbett. We're all up front right now, but again, knowing what Matt Cox just went through, we know that's not guaranteed.
And you were just riding on board with Sean Corbett, almost 195, getting close to 200 miles an hour. Now we got a third lane working. This time it is going to be the 52 of Brady Grant. He goes up. Looks like he had a couple
of leaders, I'm staying low.
One of them was
Over.
Beckett Brown, but he couldn't make it work. Now the third's going to start to bail, and all that momentum that made an initial impact is going to fade right back to the back of the line.
Lap car, what are we going to do?
Here, Dawson, and if we can, I want to get a zoom in on the
Stay low.
car of Lopez. His right
And low hill.
is kicked in at about a 45-degree angle. I don't know how
Go to
that
the
car
apron, they're free
is
wide. Go to
driving
the
in middle
apron,
of the
they're
pack.
free wide.
It should be
Thank you.
walking.
I just noticed it pointed out in the left rear quarter panel of this 5 of Brandon Lopez. I have no idea how that car is still moving straight. Not only straight, but he's in the lead trap running 195 plus miles an hour. So for Lopez, I mean, obviously you keep driving it. If it continues to run full speed, you're not going to have a choice but to drive what you have at this point. Look at that wheel on the left rear corner of that car. That wheel is pointing inwards. Trouble on the backstretch. It's Matt Cox. Multiple cars around Lopez and others. Haas was involved. Lopez, that one's going to hurt. He hits the inside wall as multiple cars crash with 10 laps to go.
Right there, Coach. Whatever damage he already had is now going to
And
definitely
Cox is on the 30.
as this is
Matt
going to
Cox
be
is
our
off the racetrack.
the
when
first
he's not
heat of the
clear,
night. It looked like this
six
one may have
foot
started
down
somewhere
the wall.
around the 32.
They need a lot of
See a couple of guys that are still going to be limping away
Checking
from
up,
this one. Man, we
checking
talked
up.
about it being such a good run so far tonight for Matt Cox. Obviously, he'll have to go in now and get some damage repaired. You're taking a look at the 8 of Haas. And we saw Kevin also involved in an earlier incident. We'll have to see if he played a part in this one. And this is also going to now set us up for a restart.
My bad, man.
Closer
He
to
had
5
dropped
laps
in the
to
worst
go,
time.
so it's starting to become desperation time. And we just talked about with the MMS strategy, waiting long, and this could be what happens. You get a late caution.
That's fine. I didn't know the last car got off the track. Trying to make room for him.
As we jumped into the replay, that was pretty much once it already happened.
Yeah, you're
Back
good.
it up one more time
You were
for
actually
to see
clear
a little bit
sooner.
further.
You can
So it looks like maybe a little bit of a stack up right in the middle line. Cox sees it, and as that car starts to drift up, contact with the 66 sends him into the outside wall, and then everybody trying to dodge him is what collects about 3 or 4 more.
A good job by Booth, Matheson. You see Richard Elliott spins as part of this too. He's actually, I think, going to get hit by one of the cars towards the tail end of the field. There you see Booth, or there you see the Lopez machine. We had just got done talking about him. Now he noses in with the left front, so unfortunately the left front and the left rear are going to have some severe damage. In fact, a meatball flag aboard the Red Bull Chevrolet. So for Lopez, that's a tough break. The other car with a meatball is Ty Stone, the 25, that we saw hit Richard Elliott towards the end of that crash. So a couple cars have meatball flags, a couple cars have severe damage, a couple very lucky though. Kevin Haas, I think, is the luckiest of all. He came right across the back of the field on the racetrack and somehow managed to not get hit. Matt Cox gets away with no meatball flags as well. So good reports there, some unfortunate reports though on the Lopez and Stone machines. For Cox, you see the stack up. He's trying to get into that third lane, which, by the way, it just started to roll with Matthew Swag. And as he does, the move is just a little bit late, and he hooks.
Lock it down high,
himself
lock it
to the
down high,
outside
lock it down
wall
high.
and causes that incident that will send us into a late race restart.
And it was hard to tell if it was intentional or if he was maybe just drifting up as a result of the checkup. But yeah, either way, a tough break there. And I'll tell you what, for Ty Stone, man, obviously wrong place, wrong time. He had just been starting to really make his way through the field. He started back just inside the top 20, was up inside the top 15, and now, of course, he's going to find himself having to restart towards the back of the field if he's able to get all this damage repaired on the pits. Well, one thing that hasn't changed through these cautions, the guys that have been dominant 1 and 2, that is Cody Nagels and Kyler Wynn as they continue to lead the field. And we've got a couple of really stout cars that have been having a great night so far, but Matthew Zwack, Brandon Broadfoot, we've seen them up towards the front as well, Mark Person, and then Grady Graham Dawson. We talked about him having some issues early, but one thing he's done that most guys towards the back haven't, he has been willing to stay aggressive, and it has paid off. Now up to 6th, that puts him up 2 spots from where he started this race at, in just 1 position outside of a dual transfer spot.
Yeah, aggression tends to pay off, and it's paid off for some guys this week. My mind takes me back to last night. Ethan Eckert was very aggressive with his moves and his blocking in his heat race. It got him a victory. No race in the pole shootout because he was just willing to turn that dial up to 11 for the entire 30 laps. The guys that have been aggressive and been willing to make moves as soon as possible have typically been rewarded for that towards the end of their races. So for Grady Graham, we're seeing the same pattern play out again for car number 52. Beckett Brown was the car that we mentioned a moment ago, lost the 3rd lane when they tried to move up here the first time. He's up to 8th all of a sudden. He gets through that crash, and all of a sudden he's in position. I look at guys like Danny Barnes that's now in position in the 10th spot. And then guys just outside the top 10 that had some problems earlier. Poliakov in the 4, Kelly Walton in the 818. A couple of others. Jacob Booth comes to mind as well. Guys that have had problems tonight, and they're right back in it now as well. It's all about how you respond to the adversity. We talked about Graham, we talked about Poliakov, we talked about the 818 of Walton as well. It's all about how you respond, and those drivers have responded well enough to give themselves a chance. With only 6 laps to go, there's not a lot of time to make those moves happen to get into a spot. If you're not in one, but certainly some guys have put themselves in a much better position.
And this isn't going to send us to overtime just yet, but if we get another caution anytime between when we take the green and the end of the race, then it will send us to that one and only green-white checkered. Well, we're not going to give too many spoilers away just yet, but we mentioned obviously Heat 10 and 11 coming up here tonight on PGR Esports, so make sure you don't go anywhere after the conclusion here of heat race number 9. But I'm looking at some of the big names coming up in those heats. Dawson, Dylan Jones, Matthew Baker going to be in the next heat race. And then you look further to heat race number 11 coming up tonight. I look at a couple of guys that we haven't seen as much recently, but certainly names that come to mind. Heath Joe. You go back to Noah Jackson. I mean, these are guys that maybe not as much as they used to be around the money racing scene, but certainly know how to get it done when it comes to these big super speedways. And in the heat we've seen so far tonight, it has been all about experience. That's the guys who have stayed at the front the longest. And being conservative, even if it's with guys you don't normally work with, seems to be the safest strategy on being able to finish in the top 5 for one of these heat races.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we've seen all week to this point. But the experience has ultimately outweighed every other factor when it comes down to it. So many of the experienced super speedway racers have made their way into Saturday's races already. And as we stand right now, many of the top 10 have multiple super speedway starts, and even in the top 5, multiple super speedway wins amongst them, counting, of course, the win person, Nagel's car, Zwack as well. We know what Brandon Broadfoot can do in the 22. So experience ultimately has been so important this week. It'll be important again right here. 6 laps to go. And Nagel's got to win, trying to close the deal.
Trying to close the deal. There's still enough time for some of these guys to right around those final transfer spots to try to make it in. We'll keep an eye right around the top 10. But up front is Nagel's and Finn, who lead us back to green flag racing. 6 laps to go here from Daytona. And similar to what they've done on every restart, Nagel's times it perfectly. That allows him to jump up and look at all the organization early on the outside. This is not what Brandon Broadfoot wants to see. He has got no help as they climb the banking into 1.
I think the one thing that Broadfoot can take solace in is he's got a teammate coming to him. Sean Corbett is one of those MMS entries tonight in this 9th heat race. He'll be the pusher on the bottom along with Josh Cruz, who stays loyal to that inside lane as well. Kelly Walton trying to come through also on the bottom. Really nice push from Corbett as the outside tries to get going. The inside's got a nice little run here. Broadfoot and Corbett connect very well in turn 3, and they'll roll forward. Another car joins that line. That's Paulie.
Reckon out back.
Yellow. But numbers beat Ford Mustang, 5th in line now on the bottom side. The outside continues to prevail. Is out back. The 3rd lane starts to try to work. That was back around Cockrell. Matt Cox. There's another car in that lane as well. 5 off the flag stand. 5 laps to go. And the top 6 cars back to Lieber are clear on the outside. They'll be the first to turn left.
And for Lieber here, he's got to get connected quickly with Brandon Broadfoot. That line, not a lot of momentum, but they're going to get a little bit more help. The 00 jumps down. Caution.
Trouble towards the back of the field. It's out back of the field again, Austin.
And it's another multi-car wreck. Yes, towards the back half of the pack here. Couple sliding around. One of them is Cox. Ty Stone involved in this one again. Looks like Cooper Cockrell and a few others that are going to have damage and have to go into the pits and work on some repairs. And this may be a tow bill here for Cockrell, and it will be. That's a tough break for the 99, as this could potentially put an end to his efforts of trying to make his way into the next round in the journey to the PGR 500. 4th caution of the night, and this will likely now send us into our 1 and only attempt at overtime. Before we talk about that, let's go back and get a replay here of exactly what happened. It's as they're going into turn 1, this outside, you see, starts to bottle up right after the 025 makes the move, but it's actually further back. They get 3 wide, Dawson. The 15 gets turned. It collects the 66, and then that's where guys like Cockrell, the 8 of Haas, you saw Stone, they just pile in. They've got nowhere to go.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for these guys to work the back of the field, and it kind of feels like what we've seen
All right,
throughout
after
the night to this
review,
point,
the
really throughout the week.
27
And some of these
was
incidents that happen towards the tail end of the field, see Cockrell come off the banking there. I just mentioned
the
him.
Steeler line
He
there.
actually
He
just
did not
stepped down
move.
that third
He
lane
put
with
the
Matt
32.
Cox, and
Comes
right
down
after we start talking about him
into
is when this incident's
27,
going to start in the center of the racetrack as he starts to
and
drift down to 3
27
wide.
has nothing to
All
do,
going
so
for the
staying
same
straight.
real
That
estate,
puts
and
the
as the
32
third
up in
lane
the
gets
15.
there,
So
there's a little bit of
that'll go on to
contact.
32,
It's one
unfortunately,
car
there. That's going to be
it's
the
on from
second
there.
cause
So
of
often in
caution
super speedway racing,
of
we
the
happen to
race. It'll
see
be a
this
DQ
one
with
car's
32.
most certain may have gotten a piece of it. There's Cockrell getting what I believe to be the fatal hit there. The 8
32.
Sorry about that. There's Harry involved. Matt Cox
32
spins
got a
spins
DQ.
to a stop as well. There was one more car towards the front end of that. I think it might have been Alan Martin, the 15, that also got a piece of this as well. Tough break for some guys that already had tough breaks in this race, and that's
second
this week too. A lot of guys that have been in one incident. We have called out a lot of names that have been in more than one. And for a few guys towards the tail of the field, that's the case right there.
Yeah, and it's like a never-ending cycle because cautions obviously breed cautions, and when you get sent to the back,
fucking
it's not
ZB,
like
what
it
up,
used
bro?
to be. You can't get to the front in 2 laps with these cars anymore. It's a much more methodical
Oh,
process.
me.
You've got to have a lot of help behind you.
There, it probably
That's
looks
why we
better
just
now for y'all.
continue to say But the drivers that are hanging back, it just doesn't seem like it has been paying off, at least not through this point over the course of the week. Now, what's going to get interesting here is obviously some of these cars that are damaged going to be kind of forced to stay out on the racetrack at this point, as they're going to hope for a miracle.
It's the PGR 500 ZB. I'll be right back, y'all.
To potentially give them a shot at advancing through to at least the LCQs. We've still got a couple cars in the pits. Up front, no change. It's Nagels and Wynn. Those two have restarted on the front row for just about every single restart we've had so far here tonight in heat race number 9. Grady Graham, Beckett Brown, going to round out the rest of the top 5. Then it's going to be Mark Person, Jarrett Lieber, Brandon Broadfoot, Danny Barnes, and Sean Corbett. The rest of the top 10, which would include the guys that would advance straight through to the LCQs. But Dawson, obviously, 2-lap shootout. Anything could happen. I think if you're any of these guys inside the top 5, with how I've seen Nagels and Wynn work together, it's going to be a tough pass. I'd almost say I try to go where those two go.
It wouldn't be a bad bet to go with the 6 and the 82, two of the most accomplished super speedway racers in the event this week. It certainly would be advantageous to any driver that would like to go with them. I would say the exception would probably be Zwack. Matthew Zwack is accomplished on super speedways also. I would see him maybe going opposite of those guys, trying to capture himself a win and get into the pole shootout tomorrow. But other than that, I think everybody will be flocking to go with the 6 and the 82. Decide to go at least inside of the transfer positions. Quick storyline update before we go back green. One car is no longer eligible for this heat race by virtue of a second cause of caution. This is the first time we've had to note this rule this week. 2 cause of caution penalties in the same race as a disqualification. Unfortunately, it's the Beast Mode performance entry of Matt Cox that incurs the first second cause of caution this week. His night is over.
Wow. Big implications there for the 32. And I think that's interesting, Dawson, because when I went back and looked at it, it was kind of an awkward situation with the run coming out back. Cox kind of in a half-and-half decision, but that's going to be an interesting precedent that obviously the rest of these guys are now aware of going forward, seeing that it did happen to what was one of the favorites early on in this heat, but as you just mentioned, will not have a chance to continue on. Alan Martin does pull his number 15 car out of the pits. Still a little bit of damage, but he is going to try to limp it home and get the best finish he possibly can. Back in 25th right now, but as we line up for what will be our final restart here in heat
You
race
participate
number 9,
in the PBR 500 every Friday? Damn, what you doing, riding bulls, my guy?
Again, only one green-white checkered attempt, and we will not see this race end under yellow. So these guys are going to race both laps out, and if there is a wreck, you just have to try to get through it. Now, with that said, there will still be fault deemed to drivers that cause incidents here within these last 2 laps.
We down in there. Blue ribbon, baby. Let's go, baby.
You do that, and then you finish in a transfer spot. Well, guess what? You're not going to move on to the next round.
I got to finish in the top 10 in my race. You're watching Heat 9 right now.
Race through it. Another interesting development here, Dawson. The 52 of Graham. A little bit of damage on the front nose. I'm not sure what it's been this week, but even with some of these cars we've seen damage. I think back to Justin Johnson at the end of last night's heat race. He had a ton of damage to the front nose, and he was still able
we
to
down in beer? Let's go.
Pushing. So clearly damage has not been as bad as it used to be in the past with these cars.
It's such a difference from earlier packages. I mean, last year at the PGR 500, we saw cars
Let me
that had
see if I can add a
fall off the
ticker.
track basically instantly with damage of that severity that we see on the Grand Machine back and forth. And the splitter is completely bent on the front end of that 52
No, I don't want
machine.
that
The nose
one.
is
I want
punched in.
the-
You can tell visibly that that car has been punched in right in the center of the nose, and he has just shown no limitations with it. Almost no consequence for having the damage on that
Here we
race car,
go.
which has allowed him to stay out on the racetrack and put himself now in an advantageous position to advance at least into an LCQ, if not a duel, or potentially contend for the win in this race. It's such an interesting storyline, and one that I think drivers are taking a note of.
Absolutely. All right, 2-lap shootout to the side. Who do you have? Cody Nagels,
There we
Kyler
go.
Wynn. Going to line up as the field will now roll back into the sim wrap market restart zone for one final attempt here at Daytona. Green flag back in
Here
the
we
air.
go.
5 miles to the side, the Heat Race 9 winner, and it's a good jump once again for Cody Nagels. He's quick to jump to the high side, and he will cover a big run up top. Kyler Wynn now gets to the back bumper, but how about the bottom? They're going to get 3 cars tanded up quickly. Matthew Zwack has help from the double zero. Jarrett Lieber there as well, and now it's back to about a 4x4 battle with the high side and the top.
Yeah, about 12 cars have broken away from the field here at the front, and they will work
Let's
down
go.
the straight away and off into turn.
White
three.
flag.
It's very interesting for who gets the final transfer spots. Just not as much energy to make any moves. 13 of them make it. Well,
Come on, Mark.
turn 3. The run coming from out back, though, is from Walton. Let's see if they
Turn.
take it to the third lane.
They're racing to the flag.
For now, well, a couple cars do. Third lane working 8 rows back. Nagels and Swack will battle for the lead. This time by, they'll see the white flag sponsored by Vendors Bar and Grills. The third line gets working out back.
No man, 2x2 here, but going into turn 1, the man still in charge is Cody Nagels, Kyler Wynn doing all the pushing. 3 guys that you may very well likely see on the feature on Sunday. Trouble out back. We had a big wreck towards the back of the field, but it will not draw a caution up front. They'll continue to battle it out onto the super stretch. Nagels leads. He's thinking about going.
Wow.
He'll stay up top.
And then here comes Swack on the bottom side of the racetrack into turn number 3. He'll get the push from Beckett Brown, who's using every possible ounce of engine temperature he can to try to bring the JDR Camry alongside. I just don't think it will be enough. The field rolls off turn 4, 2x2. There's the first move out back around the transfers. 3 wide, 1 car.
Wins himself $60. So for Cody Nagels, he will be off to a good start of the week. Also some kind of side notes here for the 6 car. Was a little bit worried going into the heats and wasn't sure if he'd have
Beckett Brown, hold it down there.
Yeah, it's going to go on Beckett Brown. He is outside of the transfer position, so that will not matter.
The 82 gets pretty much the same exact reward.
So we're doing everything else, but it looks like right now, top 10
You're already up double what you paid to get into this event. So for Cody Nagels, a little payday to start his week. But for he and Kyler Wynn, it's pretty much the same outcome like you said. They'll both race tomorrow night.
Yep, everyone's good. Top 10 will stand here. We know ELL. Cody Nagels, Kyler Wynn to hopefully that race tomorrow night.
Heat race performances that we have seen to this point in the week in a well-deserved smoke show.
I'm jumping over to the next
As he burns it down and celebrates here in front of virtual grandstands. Curious about what happened there in that incident towards the end, and it's going to be a tough break if it took Joey Beck out of it, because he went from basically lead pusher to likely finishing outside of the transfer position, and obviously results will come in unofficially when we do look at those in just a moment. But, you know, Dawson, it's still a similar setup, not quite as big of a wreck here, but once again, I mean, you're about 100 feet from the start-finish line, but that one extra attempt to try to make a move ends up costing you a chance at making it to the next round.
Pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely. So Cody Nagels gets the win as the unfortunate incident breaks out behind the leaders. So we'll start to take a look at the race results for this 9th heat race before we get back to a replay of what happened back behind the leaders. I do think Graham ended up out, by the way, Austin in the 52. A tough break for him.
A tough break indeed, but the winner here tonight is the 6 of Cody Nagels for NBG Motorsports. I believe Cody is still working with NBG. Kyler Wynn will take home 2nd here tonight. It's a good finish for him, so both him and Nagels will be advancing on to the pole shootout on Friday. Matthew Zwack takes home 3rd. He'll advance through to the duels along with Jarrett Liebert and Danny Barnes. How about that name? Great finish at the end here for Danny Barnes, as those two will also advance straight through into the duels. The first man who will be going on to the LCQs for Saturday is Brandon Broadfoot. He finishes in 6th. Cody Rhodes 7th. Sean Corbett 8th. Matt Campbell in 9th. And the last driver here in Heat 9 that will be moving on to the next round is going to be Tobias Matson. He finishes inside the top 10.
Fortunately, the first man out will be Josh Cruz in the 44. A spirited run towards the end comes up just short. Mark Person was in a dual transfer spot entering the tri-oval. He gets collected in that crash and will be eliminated as well in 12th. Stephen Harry goes 13th. A great comeback effort for him. Same for Jacob Booth. They're out in 13th and 14th. Ty Stone is the 15th place finisher. Brandon Lopez finishes 16th. Got very close to recovering from his damage that we noted earlier. He finishes in the 16th spot. Beckett Brown in 17th. There's the toughest break of the night so far. Grady Graham in 18th. Richard Elliott is 19th, and Alan Martin cannot recover from his damage. He finishes in 20th.
Kelly Walton is going to take home 21st here tonight. Sliding on back to the 22nd spot, it was Kevin Haas after he got caught up in a few different incidents throughout this race. Randall Peasley will take home the 23rd spot. It's going to be Anton Poliakov, who finishes 24th. Clay Sarton 25th. Matt Cox, after getting disqualified late in the race, finishes 26th. Cooper Cockrell in 27th, and Zach Harry rounds out the field as he was not able to start this race. He finishes in 28th. Well, before we talk to your race winner, Dawson, I do want to get a quick chance here to go back and actually look at that finish here. Curious to see about some of the chaos that broke out. It looked like it was somewhere right around the 0-0 of Beckett Brown, and obviously we talked about how good he was doing there throughout the last lap, but we know anything goes coming down to the checkered. And I think for Brown here, Dawson, it looked like he was maybe considering just one more move, and as he jumps out, I think he gets clipped on the nose at 77, and that is an end to his night, as we saw in the results that he is not going to transfer through.
And it's such a tough break, too, because I'm not sure he needed to make a move there. I think he was due to finish in a dual transfer spot. He just stayed put in behind the Matthews SWAT car on the inside. I think they both were going to go to the duels, and he sees a gap open up and tries to take it. And unfortunately, it's going to cost him a spot. It costs Mark Person a spot. There's a couple more cars that are going to get costed a spot. Josh Cruz is another one that get collected that were inside the spot, the transfer spots, that are out now as a result of that move. It's tough as a driver to judge this gap. You're going to go on board with him here. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. I think with Graham getting split, I'm almost positive that Beckett Brown would have made it into the duel, getting pushed by Jarrett Liebert. I think they all five were going to transfer up front, or at least he would have advanced into the LCQ. This last move proves very, very costly. You'll see it here as he'll move up across the nose of Mark Person.
Yeah, it cost him big time here, right? There, it doesn't take much. And, you know, for Mark Person, obviously, nothing he did wrong right there. Says, hey, listen, at this point, I'm on gas. I can't lift. But for Beckett Brown, I agree, Dawson. He's going to be thinking about this one for a while. If he would have just stayed in line 100 more feet, he'd be celebrating right now, knowing he was likely going to be advancing through to the duels. All right, well, we don't have much time before the next heat, but we do want to bring up your race winner, Cody Nagels, as he takes the first heat of the night. And I want to make sure that we get a chance to have him interviewed by his good friend and my co-host tonight, Dawson Wise.
Cody, it's the voice in the broadcast booth. You get a copy?
Yes, sir. What's going on?
Well, look, you can hear the excitement in your voice. Obviously, a big win for you here in heat race number 9 to open your week. We heard some talks about a potential provisional for you, but now no need for that in car number 6. You looked very comfortable up front. First off, take us through your race here in heat number 9. It looked pretty well uncontested for you up front in this opening race of the night.
Yeah, I owe it all to Kyler. Never thought I'd say that. Obviously, as you guys know, we have a lot of history, but we put it aside knowing that we're probably going to throw enough haymakers at each other come Sunday if we both make it. I think it was mutually beneficial for us to put all that aside and work together in this race. We took care of business. We both go to the pole shootout and have a shot to help our respective teams. It's going to be a very, very fun race. It just seemed like the mid's been strong all week, all heats. So we had the game plan that we were going to try to do that. So if there was a gap from me back to him, I would try to give him a little bit of air. He got hot on the last restart, but the pusher on the bottom was also hot, so I felt like we had a pretty good shot there. And he had enough attempts to tandem me out to where we go 1-2 to the lines. So it was a very good finish, and I definitely owe this one to Kyler.
Look, you ran well in last year's PGR 500. You were inside the top 5 on the final lap and had a look at the win. It feels like over the past few weeks you've kind of returned to form. So now, advancing to the pole shootout and the duels, you'll start up front in both. What is the confidence level for you headed into the back half of the week for the PGR 500?
Well, it's pretty good. And really, again, I owe that to the guys that I'm going to be running with in the 500 because I don't really think you can do it on your own. You got to have help and guys that are willing to communicate. Obviously, in this race, it showed with me and Kyler. You know, we don't run together on a basis, but when you have a guy with high skill level pushing you, whether it's your teammate or de facto teammates for that race, it really does help your chances as long as you don't make any pit road mistakes or anything like that. Having guys that can execute at a high level and do it consistently really is the difference between finishing potentially mid-pack in the race or being inside the top 10 with a chance to win $3,000.
Well, Cody, we know that it's a big week for you, so we'll start to let you get prepped. But before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out here after your Heat 9 win?
Yeah, absolutely. Got to thank you guys, everyone at PGR, everyone that's been broadcasting all week. I know you guys have probably put in many, many hours, and you guys are exhausted. So thank you for what you do. Mike, Baker, everyone at NBG Motorsports, but especially you two for what you do for PGR. I want to thank my sponsor on the hood this week, Redline Racing Network. I want to give a big shout out to my sponsor, Matt Bentler, Team Watson Racing Setup, NBG Motorsports Nightmare, and a big shout out to my parents for tuning in. And my buddies at the bowling alley that I was supposed to bowl with tonight that they had it turned on because I couldn't bowl with them tonight. Had an obligation. So they're up there watching, and I already got text messages from them. So thank you guys for supporting me. And this is going to be a fun weekend. And hopefully, we've been sitting talking a lot about it, Dawson. Hopefully, this will be the outcome come Sunday. Knock on wood.
What a great start for you this week as you win your heat race And you're on now to the duels and the pole shootout. Cody, congrats on the win. Go enjoy it. Go celebrate. We'll see you tomorrow night for the pole shootout race.
Yep, thank you.
And an exciting win for the driver, the number 6, Cody Nagels, as he takes on the win here in heat race number 9. Well, about 5 to 10 minutes, we will have heat race 10 coming up. Looking forward to more action here tonight in the prelims to the PGR 500. Dawson, before we do officially take a quick break, we got to talk briefly.
Mark is pissed.
A lot more pushing and shoving early, but I think Cody hit the nail on the head. The key to making it too and winning these bigger events
John.
is you have got to have help with you.
Yeah,
Mark is
absolutely.
pissed,
We've seen
bro.
it time and time again in these big-time super speedway money races, whether that's Thursday night PGR super speedway series.
Beckett on the bottom right there. He pulls up because he says he's about to blow up and then blows up right in front of the field. Blows everybody up at going to the line. And that guy said, I don't give a fuck. I ain't sorry for what I did. I'll do it again. And then Cody heard it. Cody said, you ain't gonna make it in this community, buddy. You'll be blackballed for sure. Huh? No. I guess he just started it, I guess. I don't know. I just know he came in the Discord there. I was talking to Cody, Kyler, and them. Everybody was content just to lock in. Yep. Mark's right though. If he just stays in line right there and just blows up, he's gonna get pushed over the line and go to the duels. Like, oh well.
When you and Michael go out to dinner, who picked up the Joel chapter 2?
Yes, they are ass, bro. Which is why I'm not running them this week. Why is my Discord shit not working on Streamlabs? There it goes. But yeah, ZB, those cars suck. They're ass. That's why I hadn't been in there this week. You can't pass. You can't do shit. They're fucking dog water. It'll be better next week though.
Drivers, PGR Esports welcomes you to the second annual PGR 500 presented by Matt Hill and Company and Chris Carter Racing. I want to thank all of you for your entry into this year's event. This is heat number 10 of 12. The top 5 finishers from this heat will advance to duel number 2 Saturday afternoon at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. 6th through 10th will advance to LPQ number 2 on Saturday, where that will start at 1 p.m. Eastern. 11th on back will be eliminated from the event. Tonight, you guys are going 30 laps, 100% fuel. You have 1 green white checkered attempt if needed, 1 fast repair, and $60 tonight to the heat winner. Race chatter should be kept to an absolute minimum. Admin cautions only if 3 or more cars are spinning and wrecking on the racing surface or pit lane, or if 3 or more cars make contact, resulting in a substantial slowdown of the field. Tonight, the initial race start is on green. After the initial start, the leader has lane choice and may control the restart anywhere within the restart zone. First cause of caution tonight is an end of line. Second cause of caution is a DQ. We've had 2 of those so far this week. There'll be no lane changing prior to the start-finish line on restarts. No passing below the yellow line.
Row number 3.
Black flag will be cleared for
It's going to be one of the Jack Shack
passing.
drivers. Kenny Reel on the inside in 7th. He'll have Randy Sample, one of the Grindstone Developments drivers, to his outside in 8th. Blake Kinkinnon will roll off from 9th, and it's going to be Holden Wheeler in the 09, rounding out the top 10.
Row 6, we'll see Mike Ardrey in car number 22 start alongside Gavin Grubbs into the 12 machine in the 12th position. Going back to row number 7, it's Cade McClenny making his PGR return this weekend. He will go from 13th in that familiar 05, and alongside him it'll be Zachary Harry in car 07. Row 8, Ryan Chapman in the 10 machine. He will go alongside Matt Davies in the number 26 Toyota. Row 9, Chad Hulaban in the 98 will go alongside Tommy Rogers in car number 34. He'll go from 18th. And rounding out the top 20 back on row number 10 in the 19th spot, it's going to be Jim Treat in the 25, and the 20th spot will be James Dubose in car number 55.
And 21st is going to be David Guisti with Jake Nipperis to his outside in 22nd. Austin Mitchell rolls off from 23rd, and he'll have Carson Freeman to his outside in 24th. Back to the 25th spot here tonight, it's going to be Brandon Yates in a Toyota. He'll have a Chevy. That's Michael Martino to his outside in 26. And the final two here in row number 14 for Heat Race 10 is going to be Austin Holsey and Taylor Nadeau. So Dawson, another full field here for Heat Race number 10. And I know we haven't mentioned track conditions a ton here tonight, but obviously it's been the same through all the heats. We've seen how sporty this TWSR setup has been throughout these races, and it really makes me think that aggression early has been the key to success for a lot of these guys.
Absolutely it has. We've seen the guys that have been willing to make moves out of their comfort zones early pay off most at the end of the race. We saw in Heat Race number 9 with guys like Cody Dangles and Kyler Wynn being willing to turn left, turn right, move up the racetrack, do things quickly in the race. Paid off for him in the form of a 1-2 finish. I look at Matthew Zwack as another guy that made moves early in that race, that it paid off for him. He stayed up front, and he was able to advance on to the duels on Saturday. Ethan Eckert, again, I'll mention his name once more because last night, Heat 6, I think he had what we've seen to be one of the most dominant single car performances of the week to this point. Again, by being aggressive, making big time moves, or making big time blocks. It has paid off for the guys that have finished up front to be aggressive early, and no shortage of aggression here at the front of the field. Of course, Nanny will start on the pole, but I look for Matthew Baker to carry the tone of aggression here early in that 5 car.
And he's also carrying that beautiful legendary void scheme on board here tonight. By the way, that's another one of the drivers we have in the field that makes a lot of very good custom schemes. So check out, I think it's Kid Bait Paints. Get more info on that here in the latter half of this race. But nonetheless, Baker going to be part of the front row that will lead us to green. The man on the pole, though, is Daniel Nanny. The 30 car ready to go as the iRacing.com pace car is going to pull off. The field now is going to roll up into the Simrat Market restart zone. Let's get going here at Heat Race 10. Green flag is in the air at Daytona.
On to the Daytona Super Stretch for the first time in Heat Race number 10, and it's all civil so far. Back to the Holden Wheeler machine that is the first car to get knocked down the line. Back there, he was having some connection issues over in turns 1 and 2, and Kenny Reel does not want to wait for those issues to solve. He'll send the Traveler Whiskey Chevrolet to the back of the field. Up front is a rocket off turn number 4. The inside prevails for the moment, but not for long. Nanny will face his first challenge of the race, this time from Dylan Jones, carrying the orange and white aboard that 11. Unfamiliar territory for Jones, as he's got some sponsors aboard that race car for the first time in a while.
Well, Mellicar was the big winner throughout that first lap. He picked up 3 spots in just 2.5 miles. Meanwhile, Matthew Baker, he's been paired up with 2 of the veterans here of super speedway racing, Asher Little and Matthew Dula, but they have not been able to get this outside with much success just yet. Those guys will try to regroup. It's 2 Chevys and a Ford, but at the front of the field, it is still all the 11 of Dylan Jones. The front 2 have already picked up 2 or more spots where we started this race at, but the bottom now continuing to fade. The 30 of Nanny qualifying on the pole. Now he's going to start to charge back. He's got to push this time from the 15. Bottom trying to draw back even as they work into the tri-oval.
Jones continues to lead for doing the work lap 3. Nanny trying to get that inside lane going after Dylan Jones hung the right turn a couple of laps ago on the opening lap of this 10th heat race. Nanny's got the help from the Kinkennon machine on the bottom side of the racetrack. They work up alongside Matthew Baker now, up the banking of turns 1 and 2. What a good soldier that Justin Melikar has been so far in the 84 for the Midnight Racing League. Up top side as he continues to work Dylan Jones well clear of the Daniel Nanny machine that started on pole now with 4 cars clear on the outside back of the Sundrop Chevy of Asher Little. They can find back-to-back Dula making his PGR return this week. Familiar Dula-like colors aboard his car. He'll carry that blue Ford Mustang to the inside for the first time. He's the first one amongst the top 5 to make a move. He'll go to the nose of Nanny, and it's Dula that now leads the inside. Jones looking in his mirror here, coming a lap forward.
For Dula, he has picked up a spot from where he started this race at. Still 2x2, very similar to what we saw in the early portions of heat race number 9. Nobody towards the back comfortable with trying to make a move out of line just yet. Tommy Rogers, back to Jake Niparis, Carson Freeman. These are guys that are trying to get lined up, but nobody has had the courage yet to get outside and try to make that third lane working. Still early though, only 4 laps in the books here at Daytona. Dylan Jones still in the front of the field. Justin Melikar has been pushing for a while. Attempts in that race car. We've seen a couple of blown motors here so far throughout this week, but as Jones jumps down, the 84 is finally going to get a chance to cool off. That is now going to move the NBG Motorsports captain, Matthew Baker, up to the lead pusher. Not for long though, as Jones goes back to the high side.
Dylan Jones doing an expert job right now of managing the 2 lanes. We saw Cody Nagels and Tyler Wynn do this. We've seen Ethan Eckert do this. We saw Dylan Alt do this last night in his heat race. A lot of the heat winners so far this week have been able to manage lanes. Right here, Justin Melikar going to start having to use unorthodox techniques to try to get that engine cool. He did not have much time in clean air there. As we go on board with Matthew Baker for NBG Motorsports locked in right there in third on the outside lane for Extra Little. We'll give a shot here to Melikar down to turn 3. That's going to propel the outside lead for Matt Dula. Has been resorted back to the 4th position, now making the 5th position on entry to turn 3. Melikar still trying to get the engine cool, trying to get the temps down as the inside is starting to work on their own temperatures as well.
An interesting note here, Dawson. I was looking a few spots back. Obviously on board here with Matthew Baker in the number 5 machine as he continues to take it pretty easy behind Justin Melikar. I don't think he wants to get too aggressive at the moment. You see Asher Little behind him, but one spot further back is where we find the 24, Brandy Sample. He's got the Team Cotton Sim Performance colors on board here tonight. Interesting note for Sample, if he's able to advance through tonight, he could have a shot at joining one of his teammates, and that would be Bryce Rayner, who we saw advance through in one of the heats earlier on this week. Kenny Reynolds, the Jack Shack on the high side as well. Ooh, further back, looked like the 9 car going out going 3 wide. That was David Quisty, but he's going to think better of it. Dylan Jones still leads up front. The 17 and 2 on the inside. 2 wide, 2 off a turn 4 at Daytona.
And the inside finally got back to Dylan Jones as Dula and Nanny finally got that line connected and got all the way back forward. So a much better position for them now as they run on the front straightaway. Dula will come to the left rear quarter panel of Dylan Jones and fight to lead for the first time in the PGR 500. Matt Dula trying to go to the point of the push from Nanny as Melikar still trying to get cooled off in the 84 top side of the racetrack. He'll still peek out of line. You see him peeking to the right side of Dylan Jones's car on entry. That is to cool down the water and oil temperatures of that race car so that he can continue to push and keep their line moving forward. He's done an effective job of it so far, but this is the biggest challenge that inside has presented to this point in the race. Dula back to the inside. Down. The 84's to the outside wall. He saves it for the moment. We'll have to check the damage. That's a heck of a save for Melikar, but he's gone backwards.
And Dawson, I didn't mean to bring you the big reaction, but for the 84 right there, you can almost see it coming. He got exactly what we talk about so much in the money racing scene on these super speedways. Tunnel vision is trouble out back. 2 cars going to spin through the tri-oval.
John, are you able to spot for me?
Save it as they go off track. It was the 82 of Austin Posey and Tommy Rogers in the 34 as they are now slow and have lost touch with the pack. But get back to the story here on Justin Melikar as we're going to stay green. Dawson, I don't know how it looks like he is still with the lead pack, and I really don't see a ton of damage to the right front. Unbelievable considering how far he hit the outside wall. But as I mentioned, tunnel vision, it's so easy to do here. You get so wrapped up in the guy that you're pushing, you forget to check what's behind you when you start moving lanes.
Yeah, it's a tough break for Justin Melikar. We talked about how effective he was at cooling the engine, and I think as they enter turn 3, he's still trying to position himself to not turn Dylan Jones when he's trying to peek out of line. So he's following the back end of Jones's car as they work into turn 3. Unfortunately, Jones goes to throw a bit of a late move there. Not necessarily a late block as we've seen so often, but it was a little bit later than some of the moves we've seen in earlier heat races, and Melichar just follows him down there trying to follow the tail end of that 11 machine. So a tough break for Melichar, but now he's one of the ones trying to rally the outside lane. 5 cars deep, up at the outside wall, rather, as the 9 is the leader of that group. Can't tell exactly which car that is. About the 15th position right now. Now only 4 cars. Melichar dives out of line. Speaking of the driver of the 84, we'll go downstairs quickly as they are 3 wide. Our pit reporter Tyler Vickery, he's got an update on the 84 of the Midnight Group. It's Justin Melichar.
Yeah, that's Melichar, that first thought that he made an error and stuff and hit the wall. Feels like the car is good. He's going to be working with Bill Jones, Baker, as well as Kenny Rill, trying to get back up there. Right now, they've been doing pretty well. Baker's also been a little worried about, based on this new, the new update recently, that the Chevys are more sensitive to pushes. So the wrong push could actually damage the front nose and rear bumper of those Chevy cars as well in the next gens.
Thanks to that report, Tyler, at the front of the pack. It is getting intense. Matt Davies just slammed the door on Justin Melichar, who was making his way back to the front. Kenny Rill liked what he saw onto the bottom, and he'll bring his number 11 Chevy back down to the inside. Meanwhile, the third lane has been trying to get working, but they have not found a ton of success just yet. That is Cade McClenny, though, leading the high side. Dawson, if you're looking for a guy that can deliver consistency and success in these big events, I got to think McClenny's right at the top of the list.
Almost contact. That's back around Randy Samples, the car that's in the middle of that lane. That was Brandon Yates, who was struggling there just for a moment on entry to turn 1. But they keep it going. That's going to stop the momentum. The outside was led by McClenny and Samples just a moment ago. They've got a couple more cars up there with them as well. That's Nipris in the 6 that runs 3rd in that lane. There's one more car up and behind them as well. That's the Holden Wheeler car we saw in the connection issues earlier. And man, continuing to have problems in that middle lane is Brandon Yates. And that's going to force McClenny and company, I think, to bail out from this 3rd lane. There's just not enough space there for them to make that move work. They'll bail at least a couple of rows back in the 15, who continues to kind of wash up the racetrack on entry. Although, here we go again. They're going to try to the outside of Yates, and again, he washes up. This is getting very close on the banking of turns 1 and 2. Inches apart, almost contact, but everybody gets by him.
Oh, man, yeah, the spotters have to be getting nervous about Yates right here. That car does not look very comfortable through the corners, as it looks like Cade McClenny going to go back down to the middle. He doesn't want to mess with it anymore. This is really going to kill the momentum for the 24. Sample, he's going to drag back multiple more in here as this 3rd lane just not going to get going. There it is, the 15 finally going to spin. Caution out for the first time of the night as he slides back up the track. Yates is going to collect 2 as we got another one that's spinning down towards the inside wall. And this is your first caution here of heat race number 10, presented by the NASCAR 360 Racing Network. And for Yates, Dawson, you just talked about him a lap ago. It almost kind of looked like, to a degree, a ticking time bomb that finally expired here. We'll have to go back and get a view in just a moment. But for Yates, he has taken to the pits. He'll have to get some damage repaired. And a tough break for some of the drivers that were trying to get this 3rd lane working and now find themselves caught up in a wreck. I'll tell you what, though, Dawson, when it looked live, it almost didn't look like this was a Yates issue. Almost looked like another checkup.
It could very well have been another stack-up. That's been a problem all week in these Gen 7 race cars. And yeah, I think you're right. As McClenny and one more car got stacked up right in front of the Yates machine. Giusti, Holden Wheeler, Carson Freeman all get a piece of it as well. The other 3 cars that get involved in this, the first caution of this heat race, man, the left rear wheel on Brandon Yates' car, it is immobilized. Watch in front with McClenny, and that's the 22. That's the other car. That's Mike Ardrey. They got stacked up a little, and it's Giusti in the left rear of Yates. Down the track he comes. Actually, another car is going to get collected. That's the 55 of Dubose. So James Dubose, then Wheeler, then Giusti, then Freeman, and of course Brandon Yates. Are the 5 cars involved. A couple guys scrambled to the apron. Man, look at the 97 down there. Taylor Nadeau almost slides back up. Man, that was almost a second crash there down on the apron.
Yeah, we did see the 97 actually go for a spin just out of camera view and makes a little bit of contact with the inside wall. I don't think it was anything too major, but yes, for the 15 here of Yates, definitely gonna have to go in and use that one and only fast repair, which, man, I'll tell you what, Dawson, if we didn't have those in the back pocket this week, I could not imagine we'd have but 5 cars left running at the end of some of these heat races with when we've seen these cautions break out. The biggest difference so far here tonight, at least in Heat 10, that may have been one of the longest green flag runs to start a race that we have had so far throughout the week. 12 laps of green flag racing, and it was all sorts of exciting up the front, but now looks like it is Asher Little, Kenny Rill, and Matt Davies that find themselves in the top 3 here for our first restart of the night.
Yeah, going back to that fast repair point that you just made, I look at guys like Craig Jancic that advanced in after taking a fast repair in the overtime period. I look at Nick Seipel, who advanced in via the fast repair late in his heat race. And there's been multiple stories throughout the week of guys that were involved in crashes, took a fast repair, came back out, and got inside the top 10 at the end of things. Zach King, I believe, in the 51 a few nights ago, also utilized his fast repair and managed to get in via the top 10 transfer spots. So if you did not have that, those stories would not happen. They would not be possible. So for some drivers in the field tonight, shortly, they'll take a fast repair and be in contention for the transfer spots. At the end, you're on board now, an onboard look with Kenny Reel for the Jack Shack. Got to imagine he is talking to some of his team drivers and spotters that are in the session working with him, trying to get him in. Of course, a couple of the Jack Shack entries have already advanced. Talk about David Flanagan from the opening heat on night number 1. We talk about a couple of others coming up in the heat later on tonight. Landon Veliky is also advanced into the pole shootout as well as into the duels on Saturday. So a few of the Jack Shack entries have already advanced and a few still trying to get in real here in heat number 10.
And it's going to be probably right around 15 laps to go when we do get the green flag back in the air. I want to take a quick moment to acknowledge everybody in the chat. It has been so great to watch all the conversations going on so far throughout this week. We appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in and all that you do for making PGR Esports what it is. We did have a couple of super chats that I want to give a quick shout out to here tonight. First up, NorCal Fire 7385 with the 99-cent super chat earlier. We certainly appreciate it. And then just recently, Baker's mom, of course, rooting on Matthew Baker, her son here tonight with the $10 super chat here just a minute ago. We appreciate that a ton, and we cannot wait to see who will advance through this one. We appreciate, again, everybody for tuning in here tonight. Well, it'll be 15 laps officially to go. Once we do get the green flag back in the air, Asher Little, Kenny Reel up front, Matt Davies, Dylan Jones second. And I'll tell you what, Dawson, Asher Little, we have seen what this kid has been able to do now for some time on the PGR side of things, but he has still not been in this exact position for one of these big races. I gotta think there's a little bit of nerves going on. He knows what to do up here, but this is a much bigger caliber event than maybe what he's been around for so far.
Well, it's a big caliber event for a lot of the drivers showing up this week, but even for some of the veterans of the money racing scene to be up front in this situation, absolutely, there are some nerves. And, you know, a lot of us can experience that as a driver. You and me both have been in heat races or even bigger races than that, of course, starting in 500-mile events. You started last year's PGR 500, so you know exactly kind of the feeling that Asher Little and a couple of these guys have up at the front right now. And, yeah, there's absolutely nerves. Again, you could be seasoned and be on the service for a long time, but this is such a unique set of stakes, a unique situation to be in, knowing how big this event is, that the nerves absolutely can creep in when you're in this spot for the first time this week. You can prepare for it all you want, but ultimately once you're in the car, it's a whole different animal. That's what Little is experiencing right now.
It certainly is. Well, you look back here to row number 2 and then row number 3. That's where the key pushes are going to come from for Justin Melikar. Again, an absolute huge break that he did not break some sort of suspension components on that race car after that last near incident. Kind of like a second free life here for the 84 machine. And Matthew Baker, Matthew Dooley, these are some of the guys that I think they've chosen not to get too aggressive yet, as we are just now getting ready to cross the halfway point. So pace car going to make the left turn. It'll be our first restart attempt here in heat race number 10. Here comes the field back into the Simrat Market restart zone. Green flag is back in the air for Asher Little, and he gets a big jump this time. He'll lead him by about 3 car lengths as they cross the line. But this is where you've got to be careful, Dawson. We talked about good restarts, but you can get too big of a jump at Daytona that could cost you in the process. The 0-1 going to stay high. Here comes the big run for Kenny Reel. It's going to briefly check up the outside, but that's where all the momentum's going to stay with at the moment. Further back to 32, still stuck on the bottom, and now the top's really going to roll. Asher Little's going to pull him clear all the way back to about the 30 of Nanny.
My initial thoughts of Little's restart was too good by the run that Kenny Reel was going to get when he got to that of the Sundrop Chevrolet, but by virtue of this new aero package on this next-gen race car, the runs are a little bit smaller, and as such, Kenny Reel was able to square up a really good push to the back of that green 0-1 and keep that line moving. Nobody really out of shape amongst the top 4, now top 5 back to Nanny. So Little continues to lead. Kenny Reel showing some trust in him, so too is Dylan Jones, to be the man out front of this line, leading it around this racetrack with 14 laps to go. No moves yet from second back through 4th, making back through 5th. First car out of line is Davies on the inside, And he's pushed to the front by the returning Justin Mellicar as the Midnight Captain jumps to the inside of the 84. He tries to make that line work. He's got Matt Dula with him, a pair of drivers that were up here earlier in the race. Back to the front on lap 17.
And for Austin Mitchell, looked like he was trying to make a split through the middle there briefly down the super stretch and thought better of it. And you mentioned that bottom lane, Dawson, starting to roll back even here off of turn number 4, but Asher Little still has the Sundrop Camaro out in front leading at Daytona. And Kenny Reel looks more than happy to be the lead pusher right now. Dylan Jones still there. And it's a tough spot here, Dawson, because if you're Asher Little, you feel like you're in a vulnerable position. He's riding right in the middle of the racetrack. Kenny Reel could go high, could go low. He's just got to trust that that 11 will stick with him. Now, not like the old package where you had to defend your right rear at all costs, but it's going to be very interesting to see at what point does another lane get formed up. Bottom's still struggling here. The 32 has not been able to get back even with all the pushing that's going on out back. We'll see what happens here into turn 3 and 4, but they got to get it together soon. And they're going to try to join the freighter down at the bottom as Mellicar now rolls up to the back bumper of the 32 car.
Well, the struggles on the bottom is exactly why Asher Little is basically in no danger right now of losing the lead to Kenny Reel or Dylan Jones. It's because they know they can ride in line. They're all clear. So later in the race, they want to make a move they can. There's no imminent challenge from Matt Davies and Justin Mellicar on the inside. So these three behind Asher Little are more willing to ride. Is that mentality going to change? Because here comes the bottom. Davies, the Busch Light Camry. Mellicar is the midnight purple Chevrolet behind him, and then it's Matt Dula, and a couple more cars are in line with them. Ken Kennan is in that line. Another car back behind them, as well as that Mobil 1 Toyota further back fifth on the inside. Matt Dula splits to the center. This is going to be tight quarters here in the 3. Dula makes the middle work. Davies trying to work up. Dula's going to get turned. Harry's going to get turned. The big one strikes in heat 10. Many cars are going to get involved in this one. Dula is in it. He spins to a stop. They're crashing more out back towards the tail of the field in the stack up as well.
Holden Wheeler, Zach Carey. Looks like the 12 car is also going to get involved. That's Gavin Grubbs. As our second caution of the night collects a lot more than the first one. The 17 of Dula here is going to get that Dula light machine spun back in the right direction, and he will get back rolling. But Dawson, once again, you almost kind of saw that starting to play out as they were going into turn 3. You mentioned, obviously, the bold move there initially from Dula, but it was a tight squeeze. And as Baker starts to come down, Baker establishes that spot, and it looks like, I'm not sure if it's from kind of the bump. Well, actually, we'll wait till we go back and get a replay of this. There was almost synchronized spins here. Watch this. As we're going to be going into turn 3, there's going to be an incident here with Dula and the 07 at the same time of Zach Carey. And watch what happens here is they get spun, and it's just a little bit of contact on the left rear for Matt Dula, as I think he's either, well, I don't think he is trying to split the gap, Dawson. It almost looked like when he hit the back bumper of Baker, it just shot that car down just enough to where that contact occurred with the car on the inside. And then once he starts to spin, there's another spin behind him with the 07, and everybody else has got to try to avoid it.
Yeah, that's a tough spot for Dula to be in. He went to the middle, whether by choice or otherwise, on the first car down there. I believe it was Mellicar that ended up splitting. And then as he gets into the center lane, Matthew Baker's coming down the racetrack just a little bit, and they kind of meet in the center. And with where Dula hits the back of the 5 car, it just jolts his car to the left. This is something we've seen in the next gen for a long time at this point. When you hit in a certain point, it can jolt both cars in a certain direction.
I just left it.
With Carson Freeman watching,
I don't know what it is.
There's just nowhere for guys to go. Freeman pins it to the outside wall. He may have gotten some scrapes on the side of that 4 car, but I'll tell you what, that could have been a lot worse as he pinned it to the wall and rode past all of those crashing cars and gained a ton of positions. So a great look on board there with the Freeman machine. You're on board now with Dula. Watch where he hits Baker right here going into 3. He's going to hit him kind of on the left for a quarter. And you see him jolt to the left. That's going to shoot him across the nose of the inside lane and cause him to spin. And you mentioned synchronized. Harry actually got turned at the exact same moment as Dula did, and it blocked the entire track. There was nowhere to go.
Yeah, if one incident isn't enough to avoid, these guys have to try to dodge 2. And then for Dula, you see that secondary incident right there that got him spun towards the inside wall, was able to stop just before making contact. So I think the 017 is obviously out of this race by any extent to the imagination. The big question would be whether or not he's got to use his fast repair and go back live. I believe that the 17 has done just that. Dula's got a clean nose on the front of his Ford Mustang. He'll catch the pack, but he's going to have some work to do here inside of 10 laps to go when we get this restart. Up front, though, the 01 of Asher Little continuing to now look more and more comfortable at the front with a lot of the big names, establishing himself as one of those. Kenny Reel 2nd, Matt Davies 3rd, Dylan Jones 4th, and Matthew Baker still up here inside of the top 5. And of course, got to give an extra shout out here to Matthew Baker for all that he does for PGR. Of course, he is the co-owner of PGR Esports, and him and Michael Triscaro putting in a ton of work behind the scenes to get this event going and everything they have to do throughout this week to make sure that it runs as smooth as possible. So big shout out to Matthew Baker for all of his hard work. Well, Dawson, caution back out on the racetrack here. Obviously, I know we're getting lined up to go back green. Do want to take a quick moment, rather, to mention that all cautions throughout the week are powered by the NASRA Racing Network, and they have a big event coming up here on March 7th. That is when the NASRA 6 hours of Le Mans will take place. 6 hours of strategy, teamwork, and endurance, all on the NASRA 360 Racing Network. Well, you know, Dawson, we've been shouting out a lot of these other promotions throughout different points of the week, and I think it's worth mentioning. We had the NASRA 500, we had the MRL 500. A lot of these guys took part in those big events. But what do you take from that, and how can you apply it to what we've seen so far in these heat races?
Let me look and see if I got one.
Practice reps, if you will. And that's not to downplay the significance of those other races, but you know, a lot of guys have been looking forward to this race.
Yeah,
this
I
week
was in there.
PGR 500, and it almost gives you prior experience in this format that other guys are coming in not having. And for example, I know Kenny Real and Dylan Jones have both run in those events. I know Matthew Baker has tried to make his way into those events as well. Asher Little also leading the race. You talk about Cade McClenny. You talk about guys further back. Justin Melikar ran the MRL 500 last week. May have started the NASRA 500 as well. So a lot of these guys, having 500 miles or 1,000 miles under their belts already, they know what to expect. You can come in with an existing set of notes mentally that prepare you for a heat race. You know exactly the situations you're going to find yourself in coming down to a transfer spot at the end, and sometimes you know what moves do and don't work at the end of one of these races. We saw over the past couple weeks the finishes of some of the races, and guys can come in and adjust and say, well, that didn't work, let me try something different. Or,
what'd you say, Kevin?
In this other race, let me try it out here. Let me see if I can get anybody to bite and go to the third lane, or bite and split through the middle, and let's see if this works just as well. You have a set of mental notes, and it gives you a serious advantage over
chassis,
some guys.
what are you talking about?
Maybe this is their first attempt at a 500-mile event this Speed Weeks.
Going to be an exciting restart here. Again, it'll be 8 laps to go.
The settings, what are you talking about?
Will lead us back to green right here. And
right for the setup.
Spots again, we talked about the format all week, but it's top 5 will advance straight through to the duels. 6th through 10th will make it to the LCQs. Everybody else will be heading home, and the last man's around that final 10th, 11th-ish transfer position. Well, I should say Cade McClenny is in the last transfer position.
Oh, I just run it wherever it's at.
Some of the other guys right around it, Randy Sample, Jim Treat, and some of the guys that are currently in, Tommy Rogers, Ryan Chapman, but they are only in by a couple of spots. So you got to stay up on the wheel here. Got to stay aggressive because we are starting to run out of time to decide a winner here in Heat Race 10 at Daytona. Asher Little rolls back into the sim market restart zone. Green flag is back in the air at Daytona, and it's a good restart for the 01. He's going to get the better jump, and similar to what we saw in the last heat, the leader has enjoyed getting that jump on the inside and then moving to the high side. Now he'll have to await a push from Kenny Real and Matthew Baker. The high side's got all the momentum. Now they're going to get connected. Who's going to have to run down the super stretch?
Well, it'll be the outside lane. That's because Dylan Jones looks in the mirror and sees only 2 cars on that inside lane behind him trying to push. Now, they are triple tandem, but they are just not going to be a match for 7 cars up on the outside lane of the racetrack. They're holding even down the back straightaway, and that's as big an achievement as ever as they roll down into turn 3. Now, the cavalry coming behind them. Holden Wheeler leads the charge up to the back bumper of those cars on the inside, back behind Ken in the third.
Loading in right now.
They'll work off turn 4. They'll be even almost with Matthew Baker. So Dylan Jones comes to the left side door of the Coasting Thunder Chevrolet before the 3rd spot. Now he'll be relegated to 4th with Justin Melikar. That's the battle on going down towards turn 1. Out back, Baker takes a look to the inside of the nose of Dylan Jones as Matt Dula flies up the outside. He's got help from behind. That is the 22 machine behind him. That's Mike Ardrey.
Yeah, and the desperation slowly starting to pick up. Even the aggression up front with Matthew Baker taking that big dive to the inside. Further back, there's been a couple of guys trying to peek out to get this 3rd lane working. One of them was Mike Ardrey. Couldn't get any help yet, but now another checkup's going to cause Dula to jump to the high side. The 22 is going to follow. Can the 17 get some momentum and go into the front? We'll have to wait and see. He's gotten to the high side, but he needs a little bit more help. Meanwhile, at the front, Matthew Baker cuts his way up to the front. Asher Little leads the bottom. 6 laps to go at Daytona.
Yeah, good move there from Jones and Baker. Have to assume those two are on the same page in this 10th heat race. Asher Little will unfortunately have to go back to the help of Daniel Nanny and be on the inside third in line. But here comes a big push from them. The Sundrop Camaro going forward as we continue to watch the Matthew Dula run to the front. He goes further backwards. He was in a good spot a moment ago. He's gone all the way back to the tail end of this lead pack. He'll have Carson Freeman working with him. 2x2, 12 rows deep at the front. Little on the inside, Baker on the outside. Baker will have the advantage as the field rolls up the banking of turn 3. Matthew Baker, Dylan Jones are the helpers there. Asher Little, Daniel Nanny are the cars on the bottom, and the temperatures are starting to get hot. You see Jones and Nanny both back off of their respective lead cars. They're going to have to try to cool their motors, and they'll get the 5 out the flag stand this time. 5 laps to go in heat number 10.
And the pushes are starting to turn into shoves here, Dawson. These guys are really starting to pick up the aggression. With every single push, that risk becomes bigger that you accidentally turn the guy that you're trying to push. But man, this inside really starting to struggle now. The 15 car starting to fall back further and further. That's Blake Kinkinnon, who's trying to continue his charge to the front. But as it stands right now, the 09, Holden Wheeler, he's made his way back inside the top 10. Up front, it's all about the outside line, though. Matthew Baker's going to pull Jones and multiple others clear as they dive into turn 3. But nobody's going to take it just yet. Now the 5 car is going to jump down to the bottom. And you mentioned engine temps, Dawson. We're coming to 4 laps to go, and if it stays 2x2, you got to set yourself up so that you can push when it matters most.
Well, they haven't really been able to cycle. That's what we've seen earlier in tonight's heat racing in Heat 9 and in this 10th heat race that has worked to allow guys to stay up front is that they're able to cycle the pushers. They might be able to here in turn 1, but Matthew Baker is not moving. He's going to stay up top. And now you see the big gap on the bottom as Daniel Nanny has gotten very hot in the 30. That's going to allow that outside line to really roll. Onto the Daytona Super Stretch, they'll come even for 3rd.
Baker's
they'll
leading.
come even for 4th. They will almost get another car up there. That's Chapman coming into the picture for the first time. He is 5th in line on the outside lane. First time we've called his name really tonight in the 10 machine. McClenny has also worked into a transfer spot right behind him, the Waffle House Mustang. Yellow and black new colors from McClenny after what we last saw him in here in PGR. He's worked into the top 10. How about 3 laps to go, 7.5 miles. Baker continues to lead. When will Dylan Jones thinking about turn out of line?
We'll have to wait and see, and I mentioned earlier with Kinkinnon, talked about him being 3rd on the inside. A little bit of damage to the front nose of his Camaro. We'll see how that affects the rest of the momentum for this inside. The top has been dominant since Baker and Jones have went to the lead. Kenny Real, Justin Mellicar. Be interesting to see.
I bet Real and Kenny, if Real and Mellicar clear, they're going to go bottom.
Randy Sample with the Team Conti Sim Performance colors. He'll jump up top, and he's going to get a push from the 22 machine. As they're rocking into turn 3, though, here, you got to be careful. We're starting to see more pushing in the corners here. The 6 jumps up. The 9 of McClenny thought about it. 3rd lane starting to really get formed up now off of turn 4.
I believe that is the Jim Treat machine that's taking his first turns here at the front of the field. He leads the 3rd lane now up alongside Justin Mellicar. The 3rd lane's on the scene, and I'm not sure this middle lane quite expected that run to happen that fast. They've got to regroup into turn 1. Treat and McClenny, some contact there between those 2 cars as they work 3 wide, 6 rows deep in the field. Middle lane continues to be where all the momentum is. Treats alongside McClenny. That is just inside the transfer positions right now as they run. But McClenny will pull clear. The outside's yet to find much momentum. When they get back,
he was always in this heat.
And it will be 1 lap to go here in just less than now about half a mile. But here up front, Matthew Baker continues to lead. Jim Treat trying to get this massive momentum run on the high side. He's going to get turned. Trouble is
Mellicar got wrecked.
Mellicar spins. Another's collected in just a couple feet before the line. Caution is going to fly as Mellicar slides, and he will come to a halt. It looked like it may have been Tommy Rogers in the 34 who got collected as well. And it is 2-car incident. Dawson is going to send us into overtime.
Such a tough break there for Justin Mellicar and for Jim Treat. Both were in transfer positions. And
somebody must have reported him then.
From taking the white flag and by the way, ending the trend of heat races going to overtime. This was almost the first one to not utilize its only overtime period, but an offset push, what looked to me on the outside, right around the Jim Treat machine, leading the outside lamp against the safer barrier, gets this one sparked up. Unfortunately for Rogers and Mellicar, they are going to get the brunt of this incident. We'll go back and take a look on the replay, and this run the outside had was massive. It's Ryan Chapman that's the pusher, and right there, as everyone's pushing in line, Chapman gets the slightest bit offset, gets in the left rear of Jim Treat, turns him sideways, and Mellicar and Rogers get out of shape as well. I'll tell you this, heck of a save for Jim Treat to keep that car going straight For Rogers and Melikar, that is severe damage that will need to be addressed on pit lane. Not much time.
All right, I'm going to go over to PGR.
Late in this race.
Yeah, that was a big hit for Rogers on the inside safety barrier. Melikar maybe wouldn't need that fast spare, but it's not going to matter at this point. With where his track position is going to be at the back, you take what you can get as we ride on board here with Melikar. He doesn't even know this is coming. You notice from the windshield view, he's focused on the car out in front, and then all of a sudden, here goes Treat down into his door. Saves the 6th car, but unfortunately for these two, nothing they could do. Now, Dawson, the other thing worth note is we talked about obviously that push from Chapman being a little bit offset. The area that they were pushing is always a little dicey in these next gens as well. That's right as you're coming off the banking where the car wants to unload. So it's already a little bit on the loose side. And just a tough break there. It'll be interesting to see how Race Control decides to deem an EOL on that one. And as we start to turn out back live, Justin Melikar is still in the pits. He'll be making his way out here hopefully momentarily. But at the front of the field, it is going to be Matthew Baker, who is going to lead us back to green for our one and only green-white checkered attempt. Dylan Jones second, Kenny Reel third, Ryan Chapman fourth, and Matt Davies at the moment would be the last man to transfer straight through into the duels.
And Davies runs in the 5th spot, a solid but quiet run for the 32 on your screen.
That was weird.
On your timing and scoring. So for Davies, he's hoping to finish off what has been a really strong run for him. The top 3 have been there really the entire race. Baker, Jones, Reel have been very solid in this 10th heat race. McClenny, I talked about a moment ago, had worked his way to the transfer position. It's been a long road to get to this point, but he's up to 6th. Asher Little's been relegated to 7th. He's run very well so far. Looks to finish the job from there and get in to Saturday, at least live to race another day. Randy Sample is up to 8th, the grindstone driver. You talked about him earlier. He's in the transfer spots now as well. First time we've mentioned Austin Mitchell tonight, as he is up to the 9th spot, plus 14 for him. Blake Kinkennon runs in the 10th spot in car number 20. Those are the guys that are in as of right now. Of course, we mentioned the guys that are out as of right now. They include Matthew Dula. He is outside the top 10. Daniel Nanny started on pole. He's outside the top 10. We talked about the guys that are on pit road as well, including Justin Melikar, a couple of names that are outside looking in as we get ready to go into overtime. Boy, what a stressful restart this is going to be, because we almost broke the trend, Austin. All of the heat races to this point have used overtime, and we almost got to finish it right there. Now we get back into this pattern where a crash has always happened on this overtime attempt that's affected the transfer spots once we get back going with 2 laps to go.
Yeah, and hearing that stat, Dawson, I'd be nervous if I was one of these guys, probably right about 5th through 10th. I do think for the top 3, though, here, Baker, Jones, and Kenny Reel, obviously 3 veterans, maybe not on the same team all the time, but in this case, 3 guys that really know each other here through the heat race. I look for them to stick together and try to just get themselves through to the duels. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean they won't race for it off of turn 4, but we saw how well that same strategy worked out for Kyler and Cody last race, so we'll have to see if these guys are able to follow through with that. Matthew Baker, though, obviously would like to see if he can get himself locked into that pole shootout tonight, be a part of that event. So we'll have to see how it pans out. Quick note on Cade McClenny, getting a little damage to the front nose of his Ford Mustang, but don't think it's going to be a huge issue based off of what we have seen so far here tonight. Your pole sitter, Daniel Nanny, back to 12th. He has been going in the wrong direction here for the back half of this race, so he's got a little work to do. Jim Treat going to be on his inside in 13th. And then as you go a little bit further back, Matt Dula and some of the other guys that were up front earlier but got caught up in one of these cautions and now find themselves further towards the back. So the lights on the pace car are off, and you probably know the overtime rules by now, just in case you're just joining us. Quick reminder that we only do 1 green-white checkered here in PGR, and for these heats, it is going to be a 2-lap shootout. Both laps are run under green. The caution will not fly again, but if you are found at fault for a wreck in the final 2 laps, then you will receive an EOL penalty. So even if you finish in a transfer spot, you would, of course, have to be served that penalty, which could cost you big time. So you still got to keep it clean. You got to be careful here. And that is going to be a big note of conversation for the guys right around 5th and the guys right around 10th. That's where we have seen a lot of big wrecks breaking out throughout this week. Coming off of turn 4 down to the start-finish line. So we'll see if we can end it clean here in heat race number 10. Well, the pace car is going to pull off. We'll work into the sim wrap market restart zone for the final time here in heat race 10. Baker versus Jones, Chevy versus Ford. Green flag is back in the air. 5 miles to go at Daytona.
Great timed up start on the inside, almost like Baker had the hand on the left side window. He and Kenny Reel will get clear and move right up to the outside. A timed up move that we have seen so many times so far this week works to perfection. It's scrambling out back as the inside tries to reel and get back going. Davies had no push until right now. That allows Ryan Chapman to jump out of line as the outside starting to push several cars deep, and will get a nice roll here on turn 2. Baker continues to lead that group down the back straightaway. He's hoping that inside doesn't get going, but Chapman's finally got the push from Davies.
And this high side is really rolling. They've got almost 6 cars clear up top. Asher Little, watch for the 01 to make the move. He's not going to take it, though. Decides to stay high. Now Chapman's going to start to roll back down on the bottom with Davies. And Austin Mitchell has a 3-car deep tandem. That's what you got to do. The more cars they can push, the more progress they're going to make. Here we go. White flag is out. 1 lap to go, presented by Bender's Bar and Grill.
Baker leads them back to turn 1 as Kenny Reel scrambles to try to provide as good a push as he possibly can. He's getting pushed from behind by Dylan Jones. Chapman and Davies get a run going on the inside. They're up alongside the Steel Mustang of Jones. A couple cars in the wall out back. Never mind. We're going to keep it up front. Down the back straightaway. Chapman, even with third, trying to get to the left rear of Reel. A spirited run by Ryan Chapman as the field works back to 3 for the final time.
And it's getting really chaotic right around that final transfer spot. Back towards the top 10. Up front, though, Matthew Baker's got control as he jumps back down to the inside. Chapman's going to gear him up for one more big push. Kenny Reel on the high side. Now Baker's going to jump back up. They'll crash out back, but it's not going to affect the finish. Matthew Baker leads them all back. The number 5 car wins heat race 10 at
Good shit,
Daytona.
Baker.
I can't tell you who came home in the transfer spots. They were 3 and 4 wide for those positions out back in the leaders. But the win is very clear. That red, white, and blue coasting Thunder Chevrolet and Matthew Baker looked very comfortable in this race. We'll go home with a Heat 10 victory and race for the pole tomorrow night ahead of Kenny Reel for the Jack Shack.
And arguably the calmest top 5 have looked almost all week, coming off of turn 4 down to the start-finish line. A little bit of action, but it was, again, really back towards, I would say, about the 12th, 13th, maybe 15th spot. And it looked like it was only 2 cars. I think it was about the 09 and then maybe the 30 of Nanny that actually got involved. And we'll go back and look at that in a little bit. But right now, it's all about the celebration for Matthew Baker, who wins Heat 10 at Daytona. And he's got that coasting Thunder Chevy Camaro one step closer to making the PGR 500. So for Baker here, you got to think he's going to be feeling pretty good about this one. Dawson, you talk about where he started this race at and where he is now. He started second, and here he is winning the race. So he came in with a good qualifying effort, was able to execute all race, and that shows you how important it is to stay up front in these short 30-lap races.
We've had several drivers do just
Four, bro. I got 4 set up now. All right. Let me practice this real quick, John.
Outside, clear.
Why do these guys all want to fucking draft? Like,
show them your qualifying line, they're going to take it.
oh, better not then. Just want to make sure I can get out of the pits like I want to.
stay left on them bumps. They're like right on that white line and you won't be jumping.
$149 at the cone, that pretty good?
Yeah, I guess. Anywhere from 140. And these guys were in the 14s.
You talking about right here?
No, the white line. That white line, the other line. You gotta stay down left of them, that big old bump.
I can come out about 145. That's pretty good.
You have to be turning that bitch. Start out by the line and then cut down by the grass.
That was it right there. A lot of big names in this one, John.
Yeah. They're everywhere, dude. We got Brady, Mike Davenport, Heath Jobs in here, Mike Spears, Briar LaPratt, he's a pro. Trevor's in there. How's Kenny McCullough racing again?
I think he's spectating.
He ain't spectating. That motherfucker's on the track.
Oh, I don't know.
Straight up on the track. I think he got another chance. Provisional or something.
Crazy. Oh, let me go piss. Alright, I'm back. Is the weather static or realistic?
That aggressive with the block. I was just kind of testing something there.
All good.
Static.
Okay.
It's not changing.
Okay. Appreciate it, ZV.
Melcar didn't make it.
He didn't make it?
I think so.
Clock check.
5x5.
Comp check. Copy.
Good.
Who ended up winning it?
Baker.
Oh yeah, Baker did win it. Oh yeah. It looks different, ZB, when you're watching it, but when you're out there, it's fucking totally different ball game. Cause I'll be watching the broadcast, be like, "Oh, this is fucking easy." Then I get out there, I'm like, "Yeah, it's way different."
All right, drivers, we are going to head to queue here in a few seconds. Keep in mind, it's a one-lap queue, not a two. We're going one lap here tonight, 5-minute session here. You are allowed to cut the apron here in the trials. I know we've been asked that quite a bit here this week. Good luck here. I will be back for grid for a little drivers meeting. And, yeah, have a good heat number 11.
Oh, yeah. For sure, ZB. It's like that. I don't even make those moves like that all the time, bro. Think I go out early, John, or no?
It don't matter.
Done a few times. Yeah. Why are they just sitting on pit road? What's the point?
I have no idea. Maybe they're just sitting there praying.
Trev's just sitting on pit road. So is Kevin Allen.
Sometimes. Damn, Kenny was disqualified.
Kenny got disqualified? So. Alright, we're going out.
He'll stay to the right.
Green, green, green.
Pretty good.
Let it roll up right here.
Yeah, when you get out though. Alright. Way up there. Still got 179, but a little bit. You need to go
Drift.
left side tires on that back. You didn't go up high
Okay.
enough.
Okay. Come up off of 4 or no?
Yeah. About like you did on the back. Yeah, when you go up, that's where all your speed is.
Check your flash.
The higher you go, the more speed.
Damn. 183, I guess. I'm gonna be mid-pack.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you gotta send that bitch on up the track.
Trev's on the pole.
Yeah, you gotta go up over that black line with the whole car
Okay.
on that back stretch. Not half and half or right side. You gotta go all the way on the other side of it.
Okay.
We're able to do ran a 14 shit.
Yeah.
I was running 17 something. I started getting pretty good and I quit.
What did Trev do to get that fast?
He got up to speed quick. Like you didn't hit 177 till way in the trial. I think you might have been up too high. Like on your warm-up lap.
Yeah.
Rough spot where you gotta be.
We can make it the rest of the way.
All right, drivers, PGR Esports, welcome to you to the second annual PGR 500 presented by that towing company and Chris Carter Racing. I want to thank all of you for your entry into this year's event. This is heat number 11 of 12. The top 5 finishers from the heat will advance to duel number 2 Saturday afternoon at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. 6 through 10 will advance to the LCQ number 2 on Saturday at 1 o'clock p.m. 11th on back will be
Well, at least you're
eliminated
starting on the
from
top.
the event. This year here in the heat,
I would
we're going
just give a
30
little
laps,
room.
100% fuel.
Like you don't
One
even have
green
to
light
push
checker,
that guy.
10,
Just
one
give a little
fast
bit of
pair,
room and just
$50
ride.
winner.
Right.
Rules of event
Top should be good. If you get all the way to the front, then just stay up there.
Violations will result in immediate removal from the event. Adam and caution
I don't
only.
think
A
you'll
caution
drop
may be
back.
called when 3 or more cars are
Get back,
involved
it's like
in a
7th or 8th on the
wreck,
top,
racing
then you can go
surface,
down.
or
But
pit lane, or when 3 or more cars make contact, resulting in a substantial slowdown
you're
of the
3rd or
field.
4th, 5th
The
on
initial
top.
race
You're
start
good.
is on green. After the initial start, the leader has lane choice and they control the restart anywhere within the restart zone.
I just got to make
First
sure to
cause of
uncheck this
caution
fast
tonight,
repair.
End of line penalty. Second cause is a disqualification.
Well, the only time you're
No
going
lane
to
changes
pit
prior
probably
to
when you
start
do it
finish
if
line
you
on
need it.
restart. No passing below the yellow line.
Might be able to
Black
fix
flag
it, but
will be
we'll
cleared
see.
only for passing under the yellow in the event there are cars lagging behind in a accident.
You ready to
There'll
go
be
here,
last
bud?
lap fuel
We
oil
have
penalties
two.
in effect
That's
and may
tires.
be issued for wrecks occurring in any of the transfer positions here tonight. That goes for the point of no return as well, which would be essentially the green and white checkers. Good luck tonight here in heat number 11, and don't forget the top 2 finishers in this heat will be eligible to race the full shootout tomorrow night at 10 o'clock. In my opinion, that'll be the coolest event this week. The top 2 drivers in that will not
Is this
only
motherfucker
get a
gonna
payout,
go?
but they will be locked into the feature on the front row. Good luck here, guys.
Fuck was that guy waiting on?
We're on 1 to go. Looking like you're going to be on the outside, but you probably know better than I am. Closed right now. Looks like you should be lining up behind the 17.
Let me say there's a car wrecked in front of you. Ain't even nobody wrecking.
He just didn't take off.
You're ready to roll here, man. Have some fun. Okay, car's down. Be ready. Green flag. Inside. Still with you, inside. Clear, clear, clear. Inside. Still inside. Still there. Wrecking in turn 2. Still on your inside.
If the bottom's out of shape, with the guy in front of you got a little gap, you're good.
Still
Just
inside.
riding.
Still inside. Still there. Still inside. 55.44. Still inside. Still inside. Still there on the bottom.
This guy's all over the fucking place in front of me.
Still
If you
there.
can get under him, get under him. Leaving gaps and
Clear.
all.
46.
Pushing if you can. You got a 4-car gap.
Inside. Still there.
I say he goes up, you get up under that
Still inside.
motherfucker. All them guys are down low.
Still there at the bottom. Two
Racing
inside.
with some goons.
Inside only one. Still inside. Still inside their door. Still inside. In and out long, no hole. One outside. In and out. 45, 0.75. Green lap, fastest car in the track. Still there, in and out. Still there. T13 is the fastest car on the track. 45.626. Still inside. Doing a great job. Still inside.
Should I go down or no?
Clear low.
No. Give them some room and ride. Just don't let them, stick you in the middle.
Inside. Clear, clear, clear.
Doing great. They'll fall all the way back.
45.955. Doing a really good job, buddy.
Safe spot, baby. Safe.
Caution, caution.
Caution, yellow, yellow, yellow.
Any feeling about the car at all? Wrecking in turn 1. Closed right now. Cover around it, 89. Alright, so we're going to have to come around the 89.
What's up, John?
Alright, you're going to have to come around the 22.
What's up, buddy?
Nothing much. Fucking Matt Dola was doing a good job, but he decided to push it 3 wide right there because he was sick of Mellicar.
89.
Tried to tell him not to do it. He did it anyway. Not one of my drivers made it through the heat.
Last one going to be racing. 64 goes to the middle 3 wide.
I'm spotting for Charlie, trying to get him in.
Out of the gas, so the car in front
For
of
who?
him, Evan Schilling.
Charlie
Schilling
Morgan.
just kind of pushed into the
Oh, are you? Well, you guys are under caution right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll mute it when you go green.
Oh, you're good, brother.
The road is open.
They put me on the broadcast yet, John?
Huh?
They put me on the broadcast yet? Because I got my
I ain't
driver
watching
cam
it.
share. Oh, okay.
I'm spotting.
Closed. Get us some temps when you get a chance.
What do you think about Larry McDonald thinking I should have given him the provisional, John?
They made it.
Larry?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know he did. He messaged me yesterday and was like, I didn't know that you bought a provisional. He's like, why didn't I get it? I was like, Larry, I had to pick a guy that has a chance to fucking win. I was just honest with him, you know what I'm saying? Love him to death. Fucking Cody and Kyler was on fire, son.
Hell yeah.
If Josh would pick the top right here, it'd probably be perfect, right, John? I just don't know who none of these guys are, John, how bad I can push them or not.
We're on one to go.
Push the shit out of
We're
them.
going to be on
Push
the
the shit out of
outside.
them. They either gonna be able to handle it or they ain't.
John, do you know Noah?
No, Noah who?
Noah Jackson, the guy in front of me.
No, and Josh Ball, he's on the bottom. Trevor's
Right.
behind you. Just stay up. You're good.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Manage your temps. That's it. You got this. There ain't nobody even in this race. Just don't turn him on the exit and shit like that, and just keep it nice and cool. If you need to swap, then I'll let you know if you need to. If something happens, they all leave the top or whatever.
Right.
Number 9, Charles, you want to come up, bud?
You got this, Charlie.
My bad.
Oh, appreciate it, brother. Who's this?
No worries.
Josh.
Oh, what up, Josh?
What up?
I was like, that voice sounds familiar. Who the fuck is that?
Trevor Osnoff's going to win this one. No laughter.
Shit, I'd give anything to win this bitch. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Give those belts a good tug too, bud. You're ready to go. All right, boss man. Pace car's off. Green flag. Fast guys running
Trevor's beating you up.
8,
Yep.
8, inside, 5.171. Still there. Keep it up, bud. He's going to give you a whoop whoop. Still inside. Still inside. Still inside.
Here, baby.
Clear,
Let her
clear,
eat.
clear.
Trev's right on you. That guy's off the Trev a little. Yep, just give a little room. You're just as fast. There you go.
Front straightaway.
Trying to wreck.
Inside, inside, inside. Caution
Stay high.
south. Tell us what you got when you get a chance.
P2. Wait for
Road
pace
closed.
car here.
Lining up behind the pace car. Lining up
You
behind
get to
the
come up.
pace
You
car.
get to come up. My bad, 33. I don't know if that was on me.
Gotta basically stop for the fucking pace car, don't we?
All right, last one is going to be netcode. 12 comes down the track. Looks like he's
You're going to be coming around
possibly going to
89.
make contact with Brady, but it wasn't going to be as extreme. Turns him into the outside wall. So that'll just be a netcode.
Pit road is open.
Trev fucking with me.
814, you gotta get by me.
20 to go. Pit road's closed.
Hey, 12, did you pit?
Yeah.
Rachel, I'm just curious of why it's making me let him by. I don't know if the EOL is like still in effect, but the black flag ain't up. I'm just curious.
If you got a black flag cleared, you still got to serve it even though it's cleared.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was just doing something. Yeah, if you get a black iRacing, that's going to go iRacing, up iRacing, you know, if you can clear it. It's unfortunate. Yeah, sorry about that, man.
We're on 1 to go. We line up on the outside.
You're supposed to be up here. Hey, Davenport, you're supposed to be up the high line.
I went beside him and tried to get him here.
I hope I don't get a bad start.
All right, bud. You ready to rock and roll? Pace car's off. Be ready. 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 Green, green, green. Sit, baby. You just keep concentrating every lap, bud. He'll
I gotta get that thing going.
0.999.
Shit, you got burned. Drop down when you get clear here. Oh, you're not clear. Stay up.
Look at that son of a bitch. Still on your inside.
Fuck, you got burned.
Still there. Inside.
Bad. Pull the sketch. Down right here if you can. Come on.
Inside. Still there at door. Clear level. Outside.
Make up your mind,
outside.
baby.
Still there outside.
Going down way earlier.
Still out there. 50.474. Still outside. Fast guy's running 50.341.
Push. Wide open.
Still outside.
You push all the way around in these bitches unless you hot.
Oh, I am.
Oh, okay.
Still out there.
Push.
Still outside.
Blow it.
Still out there.
All right, keep going here. Wide open. Wide open.
Front straightaway.
Yellow.
Caution. Fuck is the goddamn caution for? Wreck.
They're still wrecking.
Great race, fellas. Great
I
race.
have no idea what's going on. All right. Got a wreck on the front. Closed.
I got a black flag I hit after the yellow.
Hey, race control, I got black flag for wrecking out pit lane.
Sorry, you.
Waiting on the line.
Man, I don't see nothing here, man.
Yo, Trev, that pace car there scared the shit out of me.
Come around to 16.
That fucking bottom line absolutely sucks asshole.
Pit road is open.
I'm on 14, you're in front of me.
Closed. Pit road's closed.
We got a racing incident here, 17. I had to check up just a little bit. We got in the back 53. Check the 81 up into the night.
I'm in 11th. I thought I was in 10th.
I don't know why. I guess it's probably because of black flag, but I was up, I don't know, towards top 5, and I'm being put to the back of that black flag. Is there any chance I can get my spot back around where I was?
Shit, I'd just be happy you're still alive. This motherfucker's a wreck fest.
I fucked my left start up.
Did you go down pit road or was it for something different?
If they're going to murder that bottom line again, you watch.
Someone doored me after the yellow, and I went I clipped the green cone on exit or whatever, and it got me a black flag, and it just dropped me to the back. I wasn't involved in the wreck or anything. It's some way after the yellow.
Yeah, I think it was like 3 cars behind me.
Yeah, we're gonna send you up to 6th place, please.
So now I start on the fucking bottom.
Yeah, it might not be bad. That was a bad change of events. You got a shitty start, man.
I did.
I don't know what happened, what you did. I don't know. He caught your ass.
He came down.
Yep.
The 88.
Bad.
I was waiting on him to go, and Trevor fucking slammed him when they took off.
Oh yeah.
All right, if this thing's accurate, we're going to be
outside. You got to be almost ahead of him. You got to be right 1 inch behind his bumper. When you got to get up as far as you can beside him. If you're at his back tire, you're already done.
The field for what lane to get in, by the way, just a heads up.
Yeah, it's gonna, but just line up where iRacing is telling you to. It's gonna push
I wasn't
the
paying
top lane
attention. I
back
just
to
looked
one,
up
but
when it
that's
said
okay.
green. Arguing with these guys in this fucking heat.
Be smooth, just be smart. Stay focused. Pace cars off, be ready. Green.
Go good start.
1.473 inside.
That bitch going.
Still inside. Clear low if you need it.
Damn, everybody jumped up. This here. One off the track, keep going.
Inside,
Stay clear,
two wide
everybody jumps
inside.
in front of you.
One inside.
Stay up, go check up.
Inside's clear.
You can go down if you want.
Inside.
I mean, I don't think they're going to get that far back no more. They're not going to pull that much more. There's already 8 cars in front of you.
Still there at your door.
So the bottom should get a run on. Somebody
There.
should jump
That's
out
a
in
good
front
job.
of you. Or get a run and try to shoot in front
Inside,
of this guy.
inside. In and out.
Oh,
in
there
and
you go.
out. 50.7.
Come on, Noah.
09. Still there. Front straightaway. Still
Oh,
there.
I wish you would have hit that bottom.
Welcome to the top 10 lane.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
Close.
Sorry, guys.
Have to
He's
come
getting
around
shoved
at
in.
20. Coming around at 20.
You gotta let them guys behind you
I be
know.
trying to tell you where to go.
I know.
All the drivers are. Nobody listens to me. You're not the only one.
Well, I was getting ready to go down, then it ran out, and then, you know.
Oh, I know. I was
Oh, I know my brake pail is now.
And like if I tell you to do that, and then you start going backwards, then you could chew me out. But
Right. I'll do it.
knowing 8, 9 people on the top row, they're not going to pull further more people by the top than 8 or 9. They only pull 4 or 5.
Okay.
Bottom, you know what I mean? It's not just going to die out all the way to 15 drivers in one line at the top.
Come on, guys, hit the gas.
Sorry, man. The 18 about took us out when he decided not to go pit road.
Nice, man.
I just see another racing incident here. Big checkup on the
taking
middle
a look,
lane
you're
there.
good.
Stacks up the 760 into the 90.
I'm looking at it on TV. There's nothing wrong with that
Looks
thing.
like the
Nothing.
18 tries to go middle Holland to avoid it and can't. Everyone kind of slots up right there. So racing incident here.
Right. Holy shit, cautions is right, ZB.
Pit road will be open. go.
Restart with 7 to go.
Yep. Wait, what lap is it? 21?
21 going to 22 right now.
Yep. 7
One to go.
back around.
Starting on the outside, boss.
Any advantage of leaving it in the 5th gear right now? Can I just go ahead and throw it in 2nd?
Do what now?
Is there any advantages of me just leaving it in 5th right now, or can I just go ahead and throw it in 2nd?
No, I would just stay in 5th and just keep it cooler.
Okay.
Because you can be, if you're the leader, it wouldn't matter, but just wait. Till like the pace car dips off and then put it in 2nd. You're in 10th, right at the spot.
Right.
Top should work. You need to get a good start here. You could lay on that guy in front of you and push him like once you get going. Yep, you got this shit. It's a lot of racing. Probably another yellow, too.
Both belts and tugs. Get your tires cleaned off real well. Pace car's off. You ready?
Second gear. Get ready.
Green flag.
Go,
green flag.
Go. Pushing. There you go.
Fast guys are running 7.59 inside. 3.056. Still on your inside. Got a wreck on the front. Still inside. Still inside.
Ready to change.
Still inside.
Doing big. Right out, baby. Super cool here.
Still
inside. 7-2 in front of you.
Still there at your door.
Up through the big old gap. Follow that car and stay right in his track. Right in his tire track.
Go inside.
Damn, he got up in front of you at a gap.
In and out. 50.424.
Middle, 4 wide, 4, 4, 4, 3, 3, hit the middle. Hold the middle here. Good spot, push.
No hole yet.
That's Kevin in front of you.
Still there.
Top should get a run here.
Still there.
Trev leading.
Motherfucker, this guy.
Clear on the bottom.
Try to stay right behind them. You're too far to the right, you're losing them. You gotta get right in their tire track.
Still inside. Outside. In and out. Inside
Right in
only.
the tire track, unless he swerves out of the way.
Still there. Still inside. 45.969. Very nice work, my man. Lots of patience. Still inside.
Gotta get pushing. I don't know why he let off.
Still there, door.
Got a whole car gap. Guy in front of him's got a whole car gap. I don't know how hot you are, but he needs to push you.
Still inside.
Alright.
Wide inside.
You're at the wall, 3 wide. Gonna
No
get
hole.
clear, clear.
Inside.
All the way
Clear,
down,
clear,
but you
good
stay
job.
here.
1 inside.
Fuck, I should have went down.
Still there.
No, not yet. You'll get clear again. You get clear, you
Still
can go
there.
down.
Your door. Clear low.
Go with it when you get a big run.
45.8.
Catch them like this.
Keep those tires on a bend. You're doing a really good job.
Don't go down unless they get a run.
Maintain
That's
the position. You're doing fine.
There you go.
Outside. Still outside.
Good shit. That guy's
Still
hot in
outside.
second. He's coming. He got some help
Still
coming.
out
Just
there.
hold it right there on that line, baby.
Outside quarter.
Good
You
shit.
don't wreck me, Seth. Be careful. They're just, I don't know what the leaders of this pack's doing.
Good shit. He's a pro driver. You can push him.
Still
The
outside.
pusher has major nose damage. Push him into that guy. 3-car push so you can get clear and go up.
Still
Try to
outside.
get clear where you can get up, dude.
45.856. That's it, my man. Let's use the next one now. Let's go get it.
Push. Unless you're hot.
Nope,
Still
258.
outside on your quarter. That's what I like, man. See that nose 30 up there.
Don't get it too hot. I keep it back up
Still outside.
when you get to the turn. Hammer rolling up there. Trying to get you clear. Cool.
Still outside.
Oh, we got one.
Bracket in turn 4. 2 wide
Stay
outside.
low. You made it. Don't hit the wall.
Save.
You're good.
Close your car.
You're
There's a wreck
good.
in turn 4. Do you think you got a loose wheel? There's a wreck in turn 4. It's gonna be
What
single
kind of
file.
damages say you got?
Pit
Loose
road
wheel?
closed.
No,
We're
you're
gonna
good.
be hurting here on the straightaway
Don't worry about nothing. You're good.
Alright,
You
you're
got a
gonna come
little.
around
You got some shit in the
53,
front,
line
but
up
I
behind
wouldn't
the
worry
main
with it.
car. Let's get after it.
The front's pushed in.
Lining up behind the face car.
Just got some damage on the front, dude. All I see. The wheels look all straight.
Got some toe knocked
Are
out
you
of
first?
it. Got some front damage.
Yeah,
So
that's
be
not
aware of
good.
that. Looks like we
You'll
got
be
a
all
little
right.
bit of damage on the back.
Green, white checker. Maybe they can't see the damage. That's why I hate having damage in the back, and people can see it, and they don't want to push you and go around you.
So should I start on the bottom and then go up?
Yes. You want to start on the bottom, and you want to jump the shit out of the start. I mean, as best you can, and then go up. You know what I mean? Like everybody's
Right.
been doing. And Pryor LaPrat's got wheel damage big time.
The road will be open.
Big time.
Trev getting that wreck too?
Yeah.
Car behind me has front end damage.
Oh man, alright. Can you assess anything? Did it hurt the wheel? Got some front damage, so be aware of that. Got some damage on the rear. Closed. Pit road's closed. only going to be one attempt. That's the green white checker.
I mean, I don't think I can fall out of the top 10 here. Do you think?
No.
Last one's gonna go on the 89. Just pushing 3 deep, offset, hooks. Fedor actually pushes the Fedor up into the track into Josh Ball. Josh Ball gets hooked and Fedor gets
89, that's
trash.
trash.
You know, like, Mike made me call that, by the way.
Baker's going to be tied after this race.
Who'd you pick for my heat, John?
I picked Freddie, but he didn't race. So they wouldn't let me pick nobody else. I was going to pick Trev, but he just got EOL. So they're saying there's nobody gets to. I've been raising hell over there, trust me. It's like, how the fuck do I don't get a pick? Last time y'all let us pick other drivers and blah, blah, blah. But so Baker's got Briar LaPratt that just got wrecked and he's sent all the way to the back because he's got damage.
One to go.
So and my points won't change. He agreed on it, so. All right, there's only one attempt here, baby, and they run it out. That's Kevin, and he's going to push you. I know he will. And then Josh Ball behind him, y'all should all be good. You ain't got to get right up on the pace car, but when it dips off, just hold 70. And like, you just got to get that start. You just got to blow by Kevin. You should be gravy. I don't think the bottom's going to have a big enough run to even. Kevin's going to stay with you. I know he will. He should. He was over there and he's not there anymore.
All right, buddy, let's clean them bad boys up. Get ready to
Right at the start of the restart zone, John?
Whenever you think it's a good time. Up to you, man.
Green flag. Everybody's rolling.
Wait till you go across the line.
Set that thing on sale. 6.0.
Oh, stay down right now. Stay down for now. Oh, yeah, go up. Go up. Nobody on the bottom. Just stay up. There you go. Block the light. There you go. There you go. There you go. Good job.
Inside,
go up. Go
inside.
up. Go up. There you go.
Still there. Your door. Clear, clear, clear.
Good shit. Good shit.
Inside.
Yeah. That damage is
Still
hurting
there.
you a little, but you're all right.
There's a wreck in turn 3. Wreck in turn 4. Still inside.
You get clear, might would go down.
Easy, please. Clear, clear, clear.
Real.
Outside, 51.0.
Good
Free.
shit.
Eight. Still outside. Clear,
Only
clear.
like 3 up top. Yes. You don't want them to go up top on you, so be ready to go up. I would go up. Go up. Don't want to dick you here. He's got plenty of temps to push you. No fear up top.
You're good. You want to fight that?
Fucking good win, Charlie. That's how you do it.
Let's fucking go, John.
That's how you do it.
Appreciate it.
That was a good move you did on your own there. You went to the bottom. That was good shit.
I was committed.
Good shit, Charlie.
Did about the shout out, dog. Good job, man.
I won't.
That was all you, Charlie. With the damage.
Good shit.
Yeah, Charlie.
Thank you.
Good shit, Charlie. Good shit, bro.
Appreciate it. That Miles?
Yeah. Way to do that shit, bro. Good shit.
Appreciate it, man. I ain't as good as y'all boys, but you know.
Get ready, everybody.
Yep. I was trying to lead you the right way. That was good shit.
Coming to the start-finish line. He'll be in the line. Got to pull.
Oh, yeah. They were showing your camera, Charlie.
Kevin's mad that I fucking ditched him, but I mean I had to.
I can't believe nobody jumped. You had so much damage. They would have went around you. Dude.
Yeah.
Nobody jumped out.
But I was talking about good stuff.
You were focused on that camera.
Yeah.
Good win, Charlie.
Thank you, brother.
Good win there, Charlie. It was fun watching on YouTube.
Thank you, brother.
Baker won the fucking thing.
Yeah.
I've been in every one of them. Ain't won none yet. They got one more.
I gotta go to the waiting room now, right?
Yeah. They'll pull you up. They'll pull you or something.
Okay.
But you can go up there.
Oh.
Do I gotta be here? Oh, no.
Bro, Charlie, that was crazy.
What's up, bro?
I don't have to be.
Nah.
No? Just the winner, right?
Yeah, just the winner.
Oh, thank fucking God. Hey, good win there, Charlie.
Thank you, brother.
I was just, my car was so bad. My car was so dead in third. I was just glad to push the guy in front of me to push you.
Yeah, I was damaged. Nobody knew that. I was damaged on the front.
I saw your right front was damaged when we went green. And I was like, it just depends on where you're at. And then, but my car was totally fucked. Like I just got, wrecked from the lead and I was like, well, I'm just stay out.
Right.
Yeah, I wasn't going around, but good win. Good luck tomorrow night.
Appreciate it, Josh.
See you Saturday.
All right, brother. You too.
Bro, that was they pulled your camera up. I'm like, is that oh my, Charlie Morgan has won this race. I was like, whoa. That was crazy. Good stuff.
The sleeper pick, right? What I always said, right?
Where did you qualify? Who won the Heat 11?
I won Heat 11.
Or
That
no,
was
like
Heat
in the
11.
thing.
I don't know who won the qualifying. Like
You qualified.
I think it was like 8th or something like that. It was something.
Yeah, P8 Baker won it. Wow.
It's taking them a long ass time to pull me up if they're gonna interview me.
Good stuff, Charlie. That a boy, bro.
Thank you,
Good
brother.
Hell yeah.
Damn, my damage was bad.
Alright, we got one more heat, and then we do the. Ooh, I gotta ask.
I want to bring him down here for an interview. Charlie, this is Austin and Dawson up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, man, you find victory lane here at Daytona early in the week, leading up to the PGR 500. Well, we haven't got to call your name a ton before, kind of a newer face here to the super speedway scene. But, man, you look like a veteran out there tonight. How does it feel to win at Daytona?
Oh, it feels great. It's just been a lot of practice and warm-ups and, you know, just running with a lot of the guys, just practicing on the draft, the runs, and when to go down, when to go up, and just, you know, learning the air, how it moves.
Well, you talk about learning about the air, and obviously, you know, a custom setup on all of these cars. It's going to be very important to know who you work well with going into the duels on Saturday. What do you do to go get yourself ready, and was there anything you learned that you think gives you an edge as you do head into the pole shootout on Friday?
Just watch ahead of you and make sure that, you know, you don't get involved in no wrecks. The biggest thing is to keep your car clean for the end. So that was my goal, and I kind of seen the wreck there at the end and slightly missed it. Got a little bit of damage out of it, but other than that, that was kind of what the race winning move, if you ask me.
Yeah, it certainly was. Well, Charlie, we won't hold you for too long. I know you want to head out to go celebrate $60 richer, and you are off to a great start for the week. So before we do let you head out, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
I want to shout y'all out for the broadcast and doing this. Got to give a shout out to Michael and Baker for putting this on. Like I said, new to the scene. Got to shout out everybody at Dega Pros. John Ward was spotting for me tonight. Got to thank Mark Person, who's kind of showed me everything on these, just kind of took me under his wing and showed me the drafting. Thank my mom and dad watching there on the stream right now on YouTube. So we look forward to this week, and we'll see y'all Sunday in the 500 for sure.
Sounds like a plan. Well, Charlie, we appreciate you talking to us. Congrats on the win, and we will see you on Friday in the Pulse Shootout.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Charlie Morgan, again, is your heat.
Good stuff, Charlie.
What's up? All right, we're gonna end the stream on that, y'all. Holy shit, cost you, bro. W, nice, just race. Your heart, okay. Yeah, man, I was nervous there at the end. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, but we're in the 500. That's all that matters. I made the PGR 500. I can check that off my resume now. So, right, I'm gonna get out of here. Appreciate you turning in, ZB, and everybody else that was watching.